check. We did it. 30 minutes late. We got it done. I apologize for being late. I was unaware that in order to start a live stream, it required you to restart your router twice, your computer 4 times, and then eventually it would just work. I didn't know. I had no idea that you could do that. I was unaware of all of that, so I apologize. Don't tell me I'm muted, you son of a bitch. Get Yukon Charlie out of here. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll try and get through all the information before Friendly Friday. But as a reminder, on Friendly Friday, you guys get to come up and embarrass me. So that'll happen the last hour, maybe 45 minutes or so of the show. Let me pop this out. I forgot that TikTok Live gives me an access to the chat. Give me a second. I forgot I could get that. So I'm going to move that over here. There we go. All right. Well, let's get things kicked off. It's good to have you here. We do have a gift goal every day. That gift goes up in the top left corner. If you can help us with that, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, stay here, enjoy the show. But we're getting to the important stuff first. Fox News has not yet figured out that Jesse Waters isn't funny, so now they're just running with Jesse Water bits. And Tim Burchett, also not funny. But this is a real news organization. On a day when the government decided to cut a bunch of benefits for poor people so they could give a tax cut to the rich, this is what Fox News is doing.
It says men should not drink out of straws in public, or at all.
I don't drink out of a straw, brother. That's what the women in my house do.
He said,
yeah. That's what the women be doing, be drinking out of straws. That's how Fox News decided to cover this. They're just going to talk about whether or not it's manly to drink out of straws. The Social Security Administrator nominee, his name is Frank Bisignano, I think. He's really upset. He's really upset that people in his department are leaking stuff to the press. That kind of seems to be like a pattern for Trump people. What they get upset about is the leak themselves, or the leak itself, and they rarely get mad at what the leak is saying. This reminds me of that one time that Pete Hegseth leaked a bunch of classified information on accident, and then they're like, how dare you guys point out that we leaked classified information. So Frank Bisignano has said, he said at one point, he said, my father's a DA and I'm a detective at heart, so I can figure stuff out. But here's what he didn't want people to hear. Let's see. This was him talking to his staff, telling the story about how he became the nominee for the commissioner of the Social Security Administration.
And it's about Social Security. And I'm really not, I swear I'm not looking for a job. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So I'm Googling Social Security, one of my great skills. I'm one of the great Googlers on the East Coast. But that is the headline for the Post. Great Googler in chief. Chief and Googler, whatever. So, by the way, I like to have fun at work. We're allowed to laugh. We're allowed to have fun. We're allowed to know each other's families. We're allowed to be normal. How's that? I'm like, what the heck's the commissioner of Social Security? First, nobody said we're calling you. It was about Social Security.
What the heck is the commissioner of Social Security? I had to Google it. I had no idea. Trump called me to give me this job, and I was like, wait a minute. What is this job again? I'd already been given the job, but I wasn't sure. Amy Lynn said, you gave us more yesterday, and late today he giveth and he taketh away. That's correct. Swish said, did last night feel like debating uncooked ramen? Yeah, a little bit. I was devastated to see Admir catch a ban. Devo said the women only use straws, maybe because the straw is bigger than anything that guy puts in his wife's mouth. That's disrespectful. And Asa Sophia said, starting with a long sigh, jumping in before I head to my flight to north of Iceland. What's north of Iceland? I didn't know there was north of Iceland. Probably won't be around for much of the entire week. We'll miss you tons instead. I will chip in for the dollar train. Thank you, Asta Sophia. I thought North was Iceland. I just thought that was North. That's good with this administration. We just got a Social Security administrator who doesn't understand what his job is. Scott Bessent's having a bad day. Trump's struggling across the board. He's struggling to keep stories straight. He's struggling to explain his tax bill. He's struggling to explain his economic plans. And so he just sends Scott Bessent out there to run cover for him. And the first question Scott Bessent was asked on Fox News is like, hey, dude, why are we pushing a bill that's going to add trillions to the deficit? And what Scott Bessent wants you to know is if you don't use regular math, but you just use imaginary math, then it's no big deal.
And economic growth in your comment there. This bill adds trillions to our debt. How is that acceptable to this administration?
Well, again, you're referring to the CBO scoring, I believe, which is tenure scoring, and it's DC style scoring. So
yeah, what DC style scoring is, you have to use the numbers that you have available to you and the projections based on the numbers that you have available to you. And what you can't use is numbers that aren't available or part of the equation. What you can't do is say, well, if these numbers were different, then it wouldn't add to the deficit. So that's what he means by DC style scoring, like just using math. And I don't think this administration likes that. What if you use your imagination instead? What if you just believe that it will work?
we think that we can both grow the economy and control the debt. And what's important, Bill, is that the economy grows faster than the debt. So what I would tell your viewers to focus on is what I'm focused on, is what Secretary Yellen was focused on, is what is the total debt to GDP? Because we can grow our way out of this. That if we change the growth...
Listen, I know audio's in and out. Jen, is it bad everywhere? Amy said he stutters worse than Biden. Is it everybody that is it the audio that's cutting in and out? Or is it like...
It sounds like me. I'm not having any issues.
Okay. Just swipe in and then back out. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, it got me distracted. There. Yeah, I'm gonna go play this back.
What I would tell your viewers to focus on is what I'm focused on, is what Secretary Yellen was focused on, is what is the total debt to GDP? Because we can grow our way out of this. That if we change the growth trajectory of the country, of the economy, then we will stabilize our finances and grow our way out of this.
This is like, this is every scam ever. This is like, what's that guy's name? Grant Cardone. When you go to like a Grant Cardone conference and they show up, a lot of the questions they'll ask you are about like your availability of debt. Like, in fact, I worked for this company. I wish I could name the company because they were a scam company. It was my first job after I got back from my Mormon mission. And we sold like coaching packages over the phone. And my job when you first got there, like you didn't get to be a closer, you were like a setup person. My job was to find out how much money they had available on credit cards or if they had like a home equity line of credit. And my job was just to figure out how much money we could leverage. And then we would sell them a package based on how much money they had available in debt. And we would tell them that like, you got to have skin in the game. And you're going to use debt. This is actually smart to use your credit cards and your lines of credit as leverage for a short-term purchase that will have long-term gains. And we just scammed the fuck out of people. But that's what Scott Bessent is saying now. He's saying actually this does leave us in a position with a lot of debt, but he said we believe that we can grow the economy so much that it'll make up for this. That's what they said in 2017 too. That didn't work either. There's no indication here. He says we'll have to change the trajectory of our economic growth. How? What's their plan here? To use tariffs? What's the plan? We're going to bring back American manufacturing. That wouldn't increase our GDP. In fact, we just wiped out a bunch of our GDP. Maybe that's the plan, right? Maybe that's the plan, is like you just cut spending enough across the board that you can make up for it, but not the spending to the billionaires, right? We're still going to give handouts to the billionaires. Okay. See what they're like? This is crazy that this is their argument. It's crazy that Republicans, like, they're telling you, they're saying, look, we're giving government handouts to rich people, but we think in the long run, those rich people will make it up to us, and that this is going to pay off. This is a really good bet for us. And they're betting, they're gambling. They're gambling on the future, saying, don't worry about it. Look the other way. We'll fix it eventually.
You mentioned
GDP did just shrink for the first time in years. I think a lot of that has to do, I don't know what percentage of that actually, Britt Zerker, but I think a good percentage of that is due to the amount of money that we're cutting from federal employees, like just firing federal employees. Then Scott Besson is asked about Apple, because in the middle of the night, Trump decided, fuck Apple. If you remember when he went to Qatar and Saudi Arabia, he took a bunch of these executives to meet with the Saudi crown prince. And one of the things he pointed out was that, like, Tim Cook wasn't there. And he made it a point to bring up that Tim Cook wasn't there. He seems to have a beef with Tim Cook. So now he's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to throw some tariffs on Apple now. Just Apple. Just a targeted tariff just at Apple. Not on Google, not on Samsung, not on anybody else who's bringing in electronics. Just Apple for some reason. And then so Scott Benson now has to defend this.
Well, there is more.
Stop saying Orange Man bad, you dumb, you fucking idiot. I don't understand the economics that you're talking about. And so I'm just going to assume that since you're saying bad things about Trump, that you are hysterical. Can you guys stop being dumb for like 12 seconds? How about just today? How about just today you don't say the same dumb shit that you say every fucking day? How about that? How about just one day you don't come in and be like, this guy lives in his mom's basement, Orange Man bad, Trump derangement syndrome, we won, cope more. What if you just listened and had a response to anything that is said here? Like this one. Let's have a response to why Trump is choosing Apple specifically to go after.
On Apple, there is more news, too, on that, okay? Here we go. On True Social an hour ago, I've long informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones will be sold in the United States of America, will be manufactured and built in the U.S., not India or any place else. If that's not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the United States.
Well, now we got another problem, because it seems like Trump just figured out who pays tariffs, too, right? It's only Apple for some reason. He's got some beef with Tim Cook. And also, he appears to have figured out who pays tariffs here. A tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the United States. Now, orange folks in here, remember, Trump was saying that it was foreign countries who paid tariffs, right? Uh-oh. Did he accidentally figure out how tariffs work? Honestly, I don't even know. I can't believe we're having this conversation. As I'm saying that, I think it's fucking crazy that we have to have the conversation over and over of who pays tariffs. It's so bizarre, the world that we live in right now, where this is an actual conversation I have to have every day. The hard part about, like, Trump is things that you can just Google and get a definition for. Like, MAGA doesn't even do it. They're just like, no, we're not doing that. We know Google's biased. As if Google, like, knew ahead of time that Trump was going to fuck up what a tariff meant. And they're like, he's going to say this. So ahead of time, we're going to make all of our search results say what a tariff is. And it's going to be the opposite of what he said. It's crazy. It's honestly fucking crazy that we have to have this conversation. This is the president of the United States. You guys voted for him. You still think that tariffs are paid by other countries, at least half of you. And now he's up here saying the opposite, and you'll figure out a way that this makes sense. You'll just be like, yeah. It was 4D chess all along. He was trying to get you to look over here. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's doing that. Maybe it is 4D chess. Maybe he just acts stupid to trick us into not noticing how stupid he is. I don't know.
We've got 2 tariff threats in about 10 minutes' time. I understand that Tim Cook was at the White House this week.
iPhones aren't cheap because of slave labor, dummy.
Did that conversation not go well?
Again, I wasn't in on that conversation. I also saw 10 this week. So, again, the president is trying to bring back precision manufacturing to the U.S. And, I think that one of our greatest vulnerabilities, are this external production, especially in semiconductors, and a large part of Apple's components are in semiconductors.
Look at the maggot here. It's called short-term pain for long-term gain. What? How? Where's the gain coming? We just know that Trump knows what he's doing. So it's called deal with the pain because it'll be good in the end. How's it going to be good? I don't know. I don't know. Trump said it was going to be good. So it's going to be good. It's called short-term pain, long-term gain. Write it down. Make a bumper sticker.
Semiconductors. So we would like to have Apple help us make the semiconductor supply chain more secure.
What I found interesting in Saudi Arabia last week was that the president called out Tim Cook for not being there. Now, you know that high technology companies, it takes time to move those production facilities. What's realistic for Apple?
Again, I don't know from company to company, so we'll have to see. I do think that Apple started moving a big portion of their supply chain out of China during COVID, when China proved to be, an unreliable partner.
Scott Bessent, God bless him. God bless this guy. He's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what Trump's talking about. Like, Apple's already been moving their production out of China. They've already been trying to do that. By the way, if you can go look this up, but you can look at U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, and their agreements with Apple and our trade agreements. Apple did used to use slave labor. It's true. But Apple has been working with the United States government and the Chinese government to make sure they are free of slave labor, specifically child slave labor. So if there is some, we're not aware of it yet. But Bessent doesn't even know. Like, this just caught him off guard. Trump is just tweeting shit for the hell of it. He's just mad. I don't know what he's mad at Tim Cook for. We're going to figure it out. Something soon is going to come out that Tim Cook did that made Trump look bad, and we're going to figure out why Trump is doing these tariffs.
Okay, so we'll see where that goes, and waiting a reply perhaps from Tim Cook, and maybe that comes today.
Nobody knows what to do with this idiot. He's fucking up so bad. It's crazy to watch you guys just show up every day and be like, he's so good. He's doing so great. I don't even know what to do with this. Yesterday, Trump is talking about his executive order to lower prescription costs, which I hope you guys got to see the debates last night when we talked about universal health, or tried to talk about universal health care for a long time last night. The person I was debating last night doesn't like that Trump is doing this because it will control prices, which is a weird thing to be against. But listen to Trump try and explain how he's going to lower prices from drug companies, how he's going to convince drug companies to lower prices. These are the ramblings of an insane person. At no point will this make any sense.
They will fight the drug companies. The drug companies are very worried that they're going to fight, and that's okay. If they fight, we'll just say, that's okay. We are not going to let you sell any more cars into the United States, or we're not going to let you sell...
Excuse me, what now? Hold on, what now?
...to the United States, or we're not... We'll just say, that's okay. We are not going to let you sell any more cars into the United States, or we're not...
Are the drug companies? We're not going to let the drug companies sell cars into the United States? Just so we're clear, we're going to go back. Don't tell me here's what he was talking about. We'll restart that.
But they will fight the drug companies. The drug companies are very worried that they're going to fight, and that's okay. If they fight, we'll just say, that's okay. We are not going to let you sell any more cars into the United States, or we're not going to let you sell any more wine or liquor.
Or is he saying that the drug companies are afraid of these other countries not lowering their prices? I have no clue what he's saying here. Does anybody know? There's one of two options. Either he thinks drug companies are selling cars, or he thinks that the drug companies don't want to negotiate prices because other countries will negotiate lower, but other countries have already negotiated lower prices. This is very confusing. I don't think he has a clue in hell what he's talking about here. The reason that these other countries have lower drug prices is because they collectively bargain. He's trying to copy other countries, and I think what he might be trying to say is that he's going to tell the drug companies to raise the prices on the other countries in order to pay for our discount. And if they don't do that, he's going to increase tariffs on them. I think there's another solution to all of this. We could just do universal health care and have lower prices. Now he wants to punish these other countries. Maybe he wants to punish them and make them pay higher prices for having the audacity to not have a for-profit healthcare system. Nobody's going to go along with this. Why the fuck would anybody go along with this? If Trump's like, fine, you can't sell cars here, they're all going to call his bluff on this. Nobody is going to negotiate against their citizens and be like, sorry, we're going to pay more for our drugs in order to sell cars. This will just alienate us from the rest of the world. This guy has lost every trade war so far. He's lost every trade negotiation so far, and he just keeps doubling down on the same old shit. And every time he loses, people that he's negotiating against get more empowered. He has no shot at this. There's no fucking shot that this happens. If we're right about what he's even saying, because this guy's so magnificently stupid that every time he speaks, there's like 20 different definitions of what he could be talking about.
Or alcohol or something that's actually much more important to them than...
Hey, you dumb... Yeah, check. China doesn't sell cars here. Name a Chinese vehicle that you can buy in the United States. I swear to God, you guys don't read anything. You do not know anything. You just blindly defend this. First of all, he wasn't talking about China. He was talking about the European Union. This is in response to the European Union. We're not even talking about China. You just guessed with so much confidence, too. He's talking about China, and if they don't do it, if they don't lower their drug prices, then we won't buy their cars anymore. We don't buy their cars. And he's talking about American pharmaceutical companies, not Chinese pharmaceutical companies. It is unbelievable how uneducated Trump supporters are. But their confidence remains at 100%. You're like when you make a video game character, you can what's that game called? Last of Us? I think that was the game where you have you can choose charisma. It's just 100% confidence. They use up all their points on confidence. Brain? No. Nothing, just confidence. If you say something confidently enough, people will believe you. That was remarkable that you said that.
And the drugs. And we're going to...
Yeah. Remember the guy was debating last night. It's like, are you telling me we don't get Chinese cars? No, we don't buy cars from China. Are you telling me we don't? What about Japanese cars? Yeah, those aren't from China. That's what about South Korean cars? Also not from China. Those are different countries.
Be able to force that issue if we need to. They should do it. We're basically equalizing. They should do it. And, the drug companies should do just as well. This shouldn't be a hit on their stock. I don't think it will be. It's basically, it's going to be the same amount of money, but it's going to be redistributed. And it's going to be redistributed, so they're going to...
Now he's talking about the redistribution of wealth. And he's saying that what he's going to be able to do is offset... If we negotiate lower prices with pharmaceutical companies in America, we're going to offset that by forcing other countries to pay more than the price they have negotiated. And he thinks they're going to go along with that. Yeah, they're just going to be like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We need to make sure to pay for the CEO pay for these pharmaceutical companies. We need to make sure that because America chose capitalism for their healthcare system, which is why their healthcare system is dog shit, we're just going to pay that for them. We're going to pay the extra because they're too stupid to do what we did. Yeah, that'll work. It's for sure going to work. This guy's brilliant. What a negotiator. Art of the deal, baby.
Pay a little bit more and we're going to pay a lot less. A little bit more because there's so many more. So it's a bigger number. And
we're going to pay more because it's a bigger number. Yeah, I guess. Like this guy is like 4th grade economics. It's unbelievable how dumb he is. And then you guys are mad again. You come in here, you're mad at me. I don't like your attitude, sir. Sorry about my attitude. I apologize that my attitude is not up to snuff. I have to watch this guy every fucking day. If I can't laugh and mock him, I'm just gonna cry because he's so painfully stupid and he's so openly worshipped. The dumbest president we've ever had by miles. Reads at a 4th grade level, speaks at a 4th grade level, knows economics at a 4th grade level. This guy's a fucking moron, and I can't convince you guys of it. It's wild. Caitlin said, imagine paying into Social Security and Medicare your entire life and then handing it over to billionaires who will never need it. Yeah. Hey, billionaires, thanks so much for all that you do for us. Here's my Social Security. I hope you enjoy it. Amy said 53% of Tesla is manufactured in China. Yeah, that's why they're only going after Apple. Notice how he's targeting companies? That's the real story here. He's just targeting companies and universities. I'll get to in a minute. He's just openly weaponizing his administration against anybody who speaks out against him. And you dumb fucking cucks can't figure it out. You're just in the chair. Oh yeah, go after Apple. Why did the camera zoom when I did that? Why? Somebody is controlling the camera. That's bullshit. The camera can't all of a sudden zoom close into my face when I do that. I'm certain that Jen is part of this. That is crazy. Get out of the cuck chair. Go do something with your life. This guy's a fucking idiot.
Are you gonna blame me again for things?
I know you did that. I know you did that.
That's just not cool that you blame me like that.
Right. Hey, Jen.
Hey, it was Sally.
I'm not saying it ever again.
Anyways, so here we go. It's Friendly Friday. We only had a small hiccup this morning, so but we're back into the grind of things. So we're glad that everyone is here on TikTok. I know it's been a minute, so we're glad to have you back. Just want to remind everybody that today is Friendly Friday, the last Friday of the show. Last hour of the show on Fridays. We bring on friends in the Discord to come up and talk because we typically just take opposition during the week. So if you guys want to come up and talk to JRTP, how you do that is if you look at that Venmo, that is my Discord username. If you want to DM me on Discord, I can bring you on to talk to him. Only if you're opposition. Like I said, we have friends coming on later. So are we still going to try to stick to our normal time, even though we had the hiccup? Or
I wasn't listening to you. What'd you say? Sorry.
Are we still planning on sticking at the same end time?
No, we'll go a little late. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, little white prizzle. How many accounts is this? Pay to talk. No one has to pay, dummy.
He's mad. He's been commenting on all my videos. Sorry.
I know. I've seen it. He's big mad. Anyways.
I don't know if there's anybody that is more universally despised than Lil White Privilege. Like, his own party doesn't like him. The left doesn't like him. He's just a miserable fucking human, bud.
It really is. But anyways, so once we get towards Friendly Friday, we need to knock off the rest of that gift goal. Jay needs to update the number because we have a updated balance. But if you haven't subscribed to us already, please do so. There's subscriptions on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Please like the streamer if you're over on YouTube and also on TikTok. Like the screen. If you're on TikTok, there's if you haven't already sent your heart me for the day, the little one gift that helps us out on TikTok. And also we've got 4 different memberships on YouTube. We've got in our link tree. We have we're on most social media platforms, and Jay just started a Cameo. So if you guys want to do something over there with Jay on Cameo, that would be fantastic. I already mentioned about if you disagree how to come up and talk. My Discord username is JenDub1, the same as the Venmo. So if we knock out the gift goal, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out that balance. So a woman breaks up with a man with a small peen.
Hey,
his friends were.
Lil White Privilege is still here. Be cool.
I mean,
sorry, keep going.
He's
just leave his name out of it.
Oh, that's true. I didn't. His friends were amazed. He didn't seem hurt by or fazed by the breakup. He said it was okay though. He wasn't that into her.
Get out of here. Tony said MAGA. I can't say that, Tony. Appreciate you though, but I can't read that out loud. Alicia says, if there was an election tomorrow, who would be your ideal Democratic president and VP candidates? I don't really care about who the VP is, to be honest. I think that I would probably lean towards Pete Buttigieg right now. Brianna, thank you for the donation. Let me read some of these. Whoops. So let's see. Jen is your Dom. Jesus Christ. Tony said, you mean Pfizer doesn't sell cars? Caitlin says, imagine paying into Social Security and Medicare your entire life and then handing over to billionaires. I read that. Amy Lynn said, for all saying short-term pain, relax your throat. CW said, man, I hate the weekends because I absolutely fucking love this show. Thank you. Joyful One, thank you for the super chat. Amy said, so last week Republicans were saying GDP didn't matter because our GDP went down. They confused me. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to keep it. It's tough as MAGA to keep it straight, keep your story straight. The nice thing with MAGA is that nobody literally cares. Like they do not care what happens. They just show up every day to complain about shit. They're not going to address anything. They don't care if they're making the exact opposite point from a week ago because they'll just tell you they weren't. They'll be like, no, we didn't do that. It's impossible. It's impossible to have a discussion with some of these people. Yesterday, Republicans rolled out their talking points as they handed a bunch of money to billionaires and said, here you go, billionaires. Here's all this money that could go to poor people. Have us all repeat the same talking point where we demonize people who get government assistance and will pretend that what we're cutting are these people.
If they would just get a job, they could keep their Medicaid.
Returning work requirements. So, for example, you don't have able-bodied young men on a program that's designed for single mothers and the elderly and disabled. You save a lot of money, and you return the dignity of work to young men who need to be out working instead of playing video games all day.
The able-bodied person I'm talking about is the 25-year-old who's sitting on his couch playing Xbox.
And so you think there's just a ton of those?
Person that I feel like should.
If somebody's able-bodied and they can go get a job and they're living in their mom's basement playing video games, I'm sorry, you got to go get a job. This program was designed for the truly needy, the disabled people.
Most of them are what's called the expansion population. So again, they are able-bodied, healthy people. They are not traditional Medicaid, which is there for the disabled, the elderly, pregnant women, children. And again, most Americans believe, look, we need that safety net.
Now, if you look through when they've rolled out in front of Congress and they've been asked to present information that these people exist, they don't present any information. We have no idea what percentage of these people exist. We've asked them for that percentage. They can't give us a percentage. They're just making shit up. They're just telling you that this is what they cut. But if you look through the bill, they didn't cut this. There's no way to cut this. You would have to show that there was like a group of people of unemployed, able-bodied young men who are playing video games in their mom's basement that you pulled off of Medicaid. This is just a made-up story, but they're all repeating it as if they've presented any evidence that this exists. And the beauty of this for them is that they're talking to MAGA. So what MAGA will do now is MAGA will see this, and they'll see the criticism of this, and MAGA will respond by saying, are you telling me that nobody is on Medicaid that doesn't have a job, that's able-bodied, that's young, that plays video games in their mom's basement? And of course, we'll say, no, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you cut $800 billion from Medicaid and Medicare, and you're pretending that $800 billion were these people and illegal immigrants, and you have shown no evidence that that is the case. None. But it's so easy to dupe MAGA and to confuse them because their whole life is whataboutism. That is going to be the theme today. I'm going to show you some Charlie Kirk a little bit later. I'm going to show you a lot of MAGA, and I'm going to show you that all they ever play is whataboutism. They cannot defend any of these actions without saying, what about, or telling you a flat lie. It's a flat lie. This is an absolute flat lie that this is what they cut. They cut $800 billion. And by the way, let's just talk about what the fuck they cut. When you get a check, and you get a check stub, and you see a tax for Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid, and you see that money taken out of your check with the line item next to it of Medicaid, and then the Republicans say, we're cutting this Medicaid money so that we can give a tax break to billionaires. What they are saying is the money that they told you was going to go towards paying for these people, even if it's these people right here, the get a job, able-bodied young men, all this money that you're paying in, instead of that money going towards what we told you we were going to spend it on, we are going to give that money to billionaires. That's what happened. I don't think Republicans have grasped this yet. This stuff is paid for. This isn't like a normal spending bill, right? This isn't just discretionary spending. This is mandatory spending. When we talk about mandatory spending, what we're saying is the United States government made a promise to the people that when they taxed them for specific things, that money would go to those specific things. And somewhere along the line, Republicans, because they don't want to tax appropriately, decided, all right, well, since we can't raise taxes and we want to cut taxes, all this money we promised would go towards medical care, we're going to give to billionaires instead. And our excuse for it is going to be that there are people in their 20s who are able-bodied, who are playing video games in their mom's basement, so we had to cut it, and naturally we had to give it to billionaires. This is a decent argument if two things were true. If you could prove any of these numbers, and if you were cutting it and then giving us a tax break and saying, you know what, we're overspending on Medicaid, so we're going to charge you, the American people, less. But did they lower the amount that is going to come out of your check for Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security? No, they did not. They are keeping your rate the same. They're just taking some of that money now and giving it to billionaires. Do you see how this works? If this was true, if they were really worried about the American tax dollar, wouldn't they cut how much you're going to pay? Why didn't they cut how much you're going to pay? Why did all those numbers stay the same? If there's all this waste, fraud, and abuse, get rid of it and then reinvest that into Medicare and Medicaid. But don't use it to offset a tax break. This is legitimately stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. And I feel like I should just sit online for 15 hours a day and say this shit over and over and over and over and over again until you guys figure it the fuck out. This is money set aside to pay for health care, and they took it and they gave it to billionaires, and they told you that they did that because there's all these other people, that they're doing it in the name of waste, fraud, and abuse. They just gave your money away that you set aside to pay for medical bills. And I saw somebody in here say, look, I support this, my parents support this, and my grandparents support it. Yeah, it sounds like being fucking stupid runs in the family. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a generational problem. It sounds like it may potentially an inbreeding problem. You may want to expand the gene pool. If your dumbass parents and your dumbass grandparents also think this is a good idea, let's expand a little bit. Maybe you move out of town and stop fucking your cousin. How about that? That's probably a good idea. And all of you in rural Alabama, knock it off. Knock it off. If you're too dumb to understand this, don't have sex with somebody who also doesn't understand this. You need to be required to have sex with somebody who can do basic math. No more illiterate fucking, please. We need so much less of that from red states. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
You don't have it for an able-bodied young person, living in their parents' basement who just decides they don't want to work.
The person we're taking it away from is the able-bodied adult with no children who refuses to work.
And we're not talking about people who are disabled. We're talking about able-bodied recipients of Medicaid. That folks who are sitting around, if you're 33 years old and you're living in your parents' basement, perhaps you should, if you're receiving Medicaid benefits, if you're down there playing video games, maybe you should try and go out and get a job if the federal government is going to help pay for some of your health care. That's not an unreasonable thing. Yeah, the taxpayers, that's right.
That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work. That's what everybody supports. That's what the Republicans are for. And by the way, we find dignity in our work. That's going to be good for
it's dignified. This is dignified. We're just lying to you guys right now so we can give money to billionaires, and we feel dignified. No, what you feel is probably full, and it's probably full of never mind. I forgot I'm on TikTok. There's certain words I can't say on TikTok. I'm going to get banned from TikTok. All our TikTok friends, it's nice to see you. This is how unhinged it is over here on YouTube and Twitch. So just know, eventually TikTok's going to ban me again, and you can find us over on YouTube and Twitch. Christy said, Mary fuck on a live KK Caroline, Christy Know Nothing Gnome, and Linda McMahon. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, we're getting rid of Christy Gnome. She's got to be banished just because she has power and she's got to go. I'm gonna marry Linda McMahon because that's a short marriage. I don't think she has a lot of time left, and that's gonna line my pockets. Plus, I think I could come up with some good storylines for the WWE. And I guess I'm taking Caroline away from the podium for a minute, which everybody wins. Sully said, "Have a great weekend, everybody." Thank you, Sully. Bradley says, "What's worse than two girls running with scissors?" Two girls scissoring with the runs. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I'm not going to last on TikTok. I'm sorry, TikTok. That one wasn't my fault. Good Lord. All right, let's go here. This is crazy. This is crazy. I felt like I needed to do a headlines version, but Donald Trump says a lot of dumb shit all the time. And it appears that the White House now wants to make as few records of that as possible.
I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. That's Monroe from the Monroe document.
Yeah, everybody knows the famous Monroe document.
Now, I don't want to be a wise guy, but when Hitler made his speech at the Eiffel Tower, I would say that wasn't exactly ideal.
One of his most prominent speeches was at the Eiffel Tower.
Just a quick little fact check here. Cancer only goes up to stage 4. It's the Monroe Doctrine, not document. And if you were a wise guy, you'd be wise to know that Hitler never gave a speech at the Eiffel Tower. So it's not hard to see why this administration would decide there's no need for a written record of all of that, right? Well, now NBC News has learned that the White House is taking things a step further, scrubbing basically every transcript and making
his own people know he's too stupid. His own people are like, we cannot have this. We cannot have his words up on this website. We need to get rid of this dumb shit.
Only video and audio of his remarks available. So if you're a journalist, of which there are many out there, looking to cross-reference with an official transcript to quote the President of the United States accurately, too bad for you. There's nothing there. The self-proclaimed most transparent administration in history wants to hide that from you. And again, not hard to see why.
Guys, please don't read what the president said. We're going to remove that from the website. Please remove it. Nobody wants to talk about Hitler's speech at the Eiffel Tower. Now we got this. I mean, look, this is just I'm just going to laugh. Now we have ICE working with universities to just go after anybody they don't like. Any speech they don't like, they're going after them. So at FIU, Florida International University, home of the Skybirds, probably, the FIU's chief of police admits he's working with ICE. And when he was pressed for details on what he was going to do with ICE, it appears that he just said, do whatever you want, because he doesn't have any details.
This immigration town hall at Florida International University got heated at times, students airing their frustrations with the chief of police. Some students demanding the department withdraw its intent to partner with ICE for immigration enforcement.
There's just a lot of unanswered questions.
I was concerned if this guy is college. This guy's been in college for a while, if that's a college student.
It doesn't seem like the police chief himself knows a lot about how this cooperation and this agreement is going to be carried out.
It's an admission even the chief of police made to NBC6 Wednesday night when answering our questions.
That is the million-dollar question, because I couldn't tell you right now.
Can anybody just appreciate, we said this earlier, I need to keep making predictions. Remember earlier in the week when we were like, every time we show a clip that has a NBC or a CNN logo, the MAGA in the chat lose their fucking minds and they don't pay attention to the video. They just go, CNN, Jen Psaki, NBC, ah! You guys are a mess, dude. Get it the fuck together. You're a mess. You guys are an absolute mess. Get it together. You cannot be that triggered. I have a logo here in the corner. Do you want me to cover it up? I could, here, watch. Will this make it better if I expand this here and we cover up the logos and then you can hear what people are saying? Will that help? Get it together, folks. You're grown-ass adults. Just listen to what the videos are saying, please.
Even the chief of police made to NBC6 Wednesday night when answering our questions.
That is the million-dollar question because I couldn't tell you right now. Until the agreement is executed and we get the parameters from ICE and we get trained from ICE, I really couldn't tell you what that would look like.
Yeah, I'm just a bitch. I just bent over. I'm like, ICE, do your thing. College students, yeah, fuck them. Fuck yeah. What are you gonna do? We're not telling. That's fine. Come on in. Bro, you guys are the cuckiest of the cucks. It's wild. Get out of the chair. Put the lotion away. Be your own person, please.
I would just be guessing.
Last month, FIU announced it was signing a memo of understanding under the 287G program. 287G trains local law enforcement officers to interrogate immigrants and detain them for potential deportation. At FIU, where over 63% of the student population is Hispanic or Latino, the cooperation has alarmed many.
It's absolutely insane that a school that has international in its name has signed on to these agreements with ICE is trying to justify it as well. You know, this is an international community. Florida as a
like, students shouldn't have a say. Should we have students have a say in where they go to school? Should the university have a say, or should it just be that one dumb dick head of police there that's like, yeah, do whatever you want? Tony said, tell them to give their balls a tug, sort it out. Tony, that's Canadian, right? That's got to be a Canadian thing, saying give your balls a tug. Dreamliner said, the funniest thing on the internet today is Margie Trader Green fighting with Grok about her Christianity. Oh, I don't know this. Please, for the love of God, send that to Jen. Or Jen, find that. I would love to see that. Devo said, but Kamala and Biden talk word salad. Got it. Swish says, excuse me, that's pronounced diggity, no doubt. That's right. I like the way you work it. All right, let's get into the meat of it. Donald Trump held his crypto scam fundraiser extraordinaire last night. And I think Elizabeth Warren, cue the Pocahontas, cue the Elizabeth Warren, cue the all that stuff. Like, get the Pocahontas stuff out, guys, real quick. I'll check comments while this is Elizabeth Warren. MAGA in the chat, start yelling Pocahontas, say stuff about like using her Native American heritage as a way to get into college. Say, bring up the fact that you think that she gets a bunch of money from Big Pharma. Just get that all out real quick, and then we'll start. Then I'll roll the clip. But I wanted you guys to get that all out before we started, so that I don't have to stop and talk to you guys in the middle. So get it out. Do the thing. We good? We got that all out now? Okay, here's Elizabeth Warren with the perfect description of what Trump is doing.
Donald Trump's dinner is an orgy of corruption. That's what this is all about. We are here today to talk about exactly one topic: corruption. Corruption in its ugliest form. Donald Trump is using the presidency of the United States to make himself richer through crypto. And he's doing it right out there in plain sight. He is signaling to anyone who wants to ask for a special favor and is willing to pay for it exactly how to do that.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There you go, Steve. All right. So the orgy of corruption took place last night, and there's been a lot of people that have been asked about it, and some people give Trump pretends he just doesn't know about it. Am I making money from this? I don't know. Last time someone asked him, he's like, has this been doing well? Have I been making money? But his Arthur Schwartz, who is financial advisor for Don Jr., was asked about Don Jr.'s influence and the apparent corruption, and he said, write your ridiculous story. Literally, no one cares. We don't actually give a fuck, and that is so honest. None of you do give a fuck. I know, and Trump does it. Trump doesn't give a fuck, and Don Jr. doesn't give a fuck, because none of you care about any of this. It's literally a game to you. So like, is he scamming? Yeah. Is he running a pump and dump scheme? Yeah. Is he using his power as the president to influence and make money for himself? Yeah. Has he ever been richer? No. Do we care? No. No, we sure don't. Because with all that Biden crime family shit, all that insider trading, Nancy Pelosi, all that shit that you guys pretended you care about, you don't care about it. You're just playing this politic game. Who else are we going to have? Q in the chat, Joe Biden, make money. Q in the chat, Obama's net worth. Q in the chat, Nancy Pelosi's net worth. Q in, what else are we missing there? Q all of those in the chat. Let us get them all out. Get all the normal shit that you always say out. All right. Hey, Jen.
I found the article.
Okay.
Since I'm here, I'm just going to remind everybody that we've got that gift goal that we need to knock out for Friendly Friday, so you guys could help us do that. And subscribe if you haven't done that also.
All right. Let me read the chats that you sent to. I think I read that. Tim, thank you for joining the Dollar Train. Brad said, I asked my wife if sex is a chore to her. Not really, she replied. Chores make me feel satisfied after. That's tough, Brad. Sorry, buddy. I hope things get better. Thank you. All right, what is this story? Marge got into an argument with Elon's AI tool about God. The Republican congressman made a post Friday morning stating her views on Christianity, patriotism, and family, which she then asked the platform's Grok chatbot to explain, and she didn't like what the AI bot had to say. She said, I'm a Christian, an imperfect sinner saved by grace and faith in Jesus. I'm a nationalist, a proud American who loves my country and wants to make our home nation is the best. Probably wants to make sure is probably what she meant to say, is the best place for all American citizens and future generations to come. I'm a mother, thankful for the blessings and responsibility God gave me with my children. I'm a business owner, humbled and grateful to be able to work as hard as humanly possible in the greatest country in the world to be successful, where nothing is given at all and is earned. She was handed a company. They just handed her a company. That's how she got her money. Her dad just gave her a company. She's just worked as hard as humanly possible. This spoon-fed moron. I'm a representative elected to serve the greatest people from the greatest district on the greatest country on earth. Oh, no. May God bless each of you, and may God bless America. She ran the post through chatbot, and it rendered an explanation. Marjorie Taylor Greene identifies as a Christian, expressing faith in Jesus and traditional beliefs, like in her 2021 Christmas message. However, her Christian nationalism and support for conspiracy theories like QAnon sparked debate. Critics, including religious leaders, argue her actions contradict Christian values of love and unity, citing her defense of January 6th and divisive rhetoric. Supporters may see her stances as faith-driven. Whether she's really... Green got mad. Now Green's yelling at AI. Grok! The judgment seat belongs to God, not you, a non-human AI platform. Grok is left-leaning. It continues to spread fake news and propaganda. When people give up their own discernment, stop seeking the truth, and depend on AI to analyze information, they will be lost. Grok, you dirty motherfucker. Washington Post columnist Philip Bump said Marjorie Taylor Greene is fighting with a computer about God. Grok just roasted Marjorie Taylor Greene for being a fake Christian. I generally never want to hear about Marjorie Taylor Greene or Grok, but I will allow an exception in this case. I love how Grok gives the most basic repetition of a both sides argument I'd expect from a 9th grader, and it's too much for Marge. Just too much. She's yelling at a computer. Fuck you, Grok. You lib. You goddamn lib. Everybody knows that Grok has blue hair. She's so stupid. This is your party. This is your party, Republicans. What do you want? What are you going to say about that? Your party is so goddamn dumb. Get it together. All right. So back to Trump's crypto dinner. This is this the right one? This is from New York Times. Cue the liberal New York Times. You're going to use the New York Times as a source? I'm not listening to the New York Times as a source. Perhaps the best-known crypto investor at the dinner was Justin Sun, a Chinese billionaire who runs the crypto platform Tron. He spent more than $40 million to get there, buying Trump coins, earning himself the top spot on the leaderboard. Wearing a black bow tie and accompanied by an assistant who held an umbrella over his head, this Chinese national billionaire, Jesus, he was one of the first ones to arrive. He's prompt. In a brief interview at the club, he told the Times that the dinner would be his first meeting with Trump. I'm very excited to meet him and discuss about crypto's future. Sangrok Oh, a Korean crypto executive, arrived at the dinner with a collection of red baseball caps emblazoned with the words, "Make crypto great again." They brought his own merch that he planned to hand out at the event. He said he had flown all the way from Seoul to attend the dinner. It's kind of a fundraiser for Mr. Trump. It's a fundraiser for Mr. Trump. He said in an interview, and he'll always be good to his sponsors. They're just saying, like, bro, if we give this guy money, he'll do whatever the fuck we want. This is great. Other guests included Vincent Liu, the chief investment officer at Kronos Research, a crypto firm founded in Taiwan. Kronos profits by conducting high-frequency trading on crypto platforms across the world, except in the United States. They have no business in the United States. But with a nod from Mr. Trump and his regulators, Mr. Liu wants to enter the United States market. His firm bought enough of the Trump coins to ensure he had a seat at the dinner with the hope he might get Trump's ear. I will definitely not hesitate to share my perspective. It's great to see the current direction that everything's going. They're just all saying, we bribed him, and now we're here to tell him what we're bribing him for. Just took all, and he just took it. He's like, yeah, this is fine. That's crazy. This is cool though, right, guys? We're cool with this. Totally not corrupt. Not even a little bit corrupt here. All right. Here's Chris Murphy explaining it. I thought that really well here, actually. Chris Murphy is sorry. This is did I cover the? Okay, good. You guys, they'll never know this is on CNN. I hid the logo, so they're not gonna know. They're not gonna have no idea that this is CNN. Here's a clip from a news network we're not sure of. This is Chris Murphy.
Billionaire claims to be the top Trump meme coin holder. According to CNN reporting, he had more than $22 million in Trump's meme coin. He'd put apparently $75 million into a Trump family-backed token. He was charged by the SEC. Regulators said was selling unregistered securities, fraudulently manipulating the price of a digital token back in 2023, which he said was meritless, according to the Wall Street Journal. But about a month after President Trump returned to the White House, the SEC pulled back on its crypto enforcement, and a government attorney asked a judge to put the case against.
I just realized that the logo is actually only hidden on Twitch because there's two different streams. So if you're in a vertical stream, I don't have the logo hidden there. But if you're on Twitch, the logo is hidden.
This person on hold. Is that one of the things that makes you suspicious?
Well, imagine that happening at scale. So this is an individual that we know is there tonight. We know he has paid Trump money. I mean, that's all they're doing. The crypto coin is just a mechanism for bribery. People just send Trump money. It's through these meme coins, but it's just a way to get cash in the president's pocket. And then he magically gets charges dropped against him. The problem is there are 219 other people at that dinner tonight. We have no idea who they are. And so.
Do you hear that? He gave Trump a bunch of money. He was under investigation. After he gave that money, they dropped the investigation. Cool. Totally unrelated. Totally unrelated. He just bought a bunch of Trump coin where Trump gets, I think, 80% of the revenue. And then suddenly it was dropped. Yeah, it was unrelated, though. It just happened that way. It's just a coincidence.
So over the next few weeks, you may see investigations dropped. You may see lawsuits withdrawn against people you've never heard of. They might have been at that dinner tonight. They might be asking the president for that special dispensation. And the trick here is pretty simple. If you have the money to get access to Donald Trump, if you have the money to put cash in his pocket, there's a different set of rules that apply to you. But if you're an ordinary American who's caught up in the legal system and you can't buy $1 million worth of Trump meme coin, you're going to jail.
Yeah. All you guys in the chat, all you MAGA in the chat, he's talking about you. So you don't have enough money to get what you want. But lucky for you, all you want is to watch people publicly fillet Donald Trump. And so it's working for you. It's free. This is Pornhub and you're the viewer. You're not the actor. You don't get to be in there dipping it in Donald. But you do get to watch people dip it in Donald and get what they want. Maybe you can just like time when you finish, and then you'll feel like you're part of it, you know? Yeah, like you just delay it, and you time it just right. One of those beautiful moments. Maybe you guys could do that. Here's what happened once you were there. So now all these folks show up, and what do? They get gift bags. This is Justin Soon, who we were talking about, and this is his video that he made, and he put music on with it. But now we're handing out like really expensive watches to these people. Thanks for the money, guys. Thanks for the free money. I'll talk to you about your favors in a minute, but here's a gift from us. Now, interestingly enough, when these folks came, their watches said Trump. But if you bought a Trump watch, if you've been watching this show last week, you'll know that if you bought one of those $500 watches, they said rump. They didn't even say Trump. They forgot the T. But if you came to this, if you gave them a bunch of money, you get the T. All you commoners buying other stuff, you don't get the T. So that's neat. This is a cool president you guys have going here. I like this guy. He's doing great things. Tracy said, my payday's your payday. Love Sally number 69. Danielle said, I secretly just like to hear you say my name, Double Daddy. All right. Amy said, we can see all their tax returns going back years. Where's Trump's and most Republicans? They're hiding. And Sully says, I just want Jen to know I appreciate how selfless and graceful she is. Her kindness and empathy is unmatched. We'd all be lost without her. That is very, very true. Jen, do you want to respond to that, or are you okay? Yeah. Guess Jen's going to stay.
I already sent Sully the middle finger umbrella, so I already responded.
All right. Old Caroline was asked, are you going to give us that guest list? All these people that are showing up that bribed the president, are you going to give us that guest list, please?
Sure. On the president's dinner tonight, will the White House commit to making a list of the attendees public so people can see who's paying for that kind of access to the president?
Well, as you know, Garrett, this question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is
I don't know. Why do they talk like this? As you know, this question has been asked. Yeah, that's why we're still asking for an answer here, because you keep telling us that you'll get back to us.
I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House, but certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer for it.
Okay, and on
no, we're not going to give you an answer for that. And this is an existing company that existed for nearly 2 whole days before he entered office. Almost 48 hours this company existed before he entered office. So it was an existing company, guys. There's nothing to see here. There's absolutely nothing to see. Because Trump launched a crypto coin 2 days before he went into office. And then every time he needs something, you can just give him money. And then he happens to just go meet with the people who give him money. But there is nothing to see here. This is totally above board. This is the most transparent administration in the history of this country. It's fine. Just look the other way. Amy said, explain related. I'm sure they have no clue. Related means available. Did I get all these? I got those ones. All right. Then another reporter says the Trump family's making money off crypto. How is this not Trump just enriching himself from the office? Fair question. How is this not? Now, if any of you guys came up here, because you're not Caroline Levitt, and you're allowed to just sound like psychos, you would just say, I don't care. Or you would just say, the president can make money. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need it. But she can't say that because she's the White House press secretary. So she's just going to lie instead.
And just following up on the dinner tonight, you mentioned this is not a White House dinner, but the president is always the president, and the Trump family is making money off of this. So can you just explain, how is this not the president using the office to enrich himself?
All of the president's assets are in a blind trust, which is managed by his children, and
His children? Are you out of your goddamn mind? I don't know why she said that. That's crazy. It's not a blind trust if your children are managing it. The whole point of a blind trust is you have no say. You have no visibility. You have no connection. It's somebody that is not working with you on a day-to-day basis, somebody that's just managing your money, and they don't have a relationship with you outside of that. This is not a blind trust. This is another just like, oh, yeah, we're totally not going to manage our money. Who is? My son. Oh, he's right. He's literally right here. And he does everything I say, but I'm not managing the money. I don't know anything about any of this money.
I argue one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president back to this office is because he was a very successful businessman before giving it up to publicly serve.
Yeah, nearly 2 days before he entered office, he was a very successful businessman. 40% of Trump's current net worth is due to that cryptocurrency that he launched 2 days before entering office. 40%. This is significant. This isn't like pennies on the dollar. This isn't somebody gave him a free dinner. This wasn't they threw an extra hash brown in with his McDonald's order. This is 40% of his net worth that he is getting by letting people bribe him. He's running a pump and dump crypto Ponzi scheme that allows foreign entities to bribe him without any transparency. He doesn't have to tell us who's giving him money. And that's 40% of his net worth. And you guys are still like, yeah, this is all on the up and up. No, this is totally cool. Chris Murphy explains it really well. Double siding of a bearded Chris Murphy today. Congratulations to all of you for getting to see this. Now, C-SPAN, I assume, is also probably too liberal for you guys, so I apologize. This is from C-SPAN.
The price is somewhere north of $2 billion. Last week, Eric Trump and World Liberty Financial co-founder Zach Witkoff spoke at a conference in Dubai on crypto called Token 2049. As an aside here, it's just so fantastic and bone-chilling how transparent these guys are in their use of public positions to enrich themselves. I'm going to tell the story of Trump's stablecoin and the corruption with the Emiratis, but let's just pause for a second and consider the fact that the Trump family could have partnered with anybody in the world on their new crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. But of all the people in the world to partner with on this new crypto venture, they chose the son of Trump's Middle East envoy.
Oh, yeah.
Trump's Middle East envoy, the guy who's making all the decisions on U.S. policy in the Middle East, just to make it crystal clear to the Gulf countries that when they deal with World Liberty Financial, Trump's crypto venture, that they are dealing directly with the people responsible for making U.S. policy in the Middle East. It's just stunning. Literally, the sons of the president and the sons of the Middle East envoy running a crypto venture and then going directly into the Middle East in order to find their first investment. And guess what? Miracle, they found it.
All a coincidence. This is all a coincidence, guys. There's nothing to see here. My live visibility is good. Live visibility is restricted there on TikTok, so you may not be able to gift on TikTok. I don't know.
MGX, an investment firm backed by the Emirati government at this conference, announced that they had looked at all the crypto companies in the world that they could partner with to invest $2 billion in the crypto exchange Binance, and they selected, wait for it, drum roll, the company run by the sons of the President of the United States and the U.S. Middle East envoy.
Just a coincidence, guys. This is the thing about Trump. It's not that he's corrupt. It's just that, like, everything he does appears corrupt. And everything he's doing has never been done before. But it's not him, okay? It's just a coincidence.
$2 billion. Now, World Liberty's role in this transaction is not that complicated. It's kind of similar to a bank. MGX, this Emirati firm, deposits $2 billion with the firm, and in return receives the stable coin to be used on these crypto exchanges.
It is like we're talking about the Hawk-Tuah coin here. It's exactly the same as the Hawk-Tuah coin. It is a useless, worthless coin that it was used to transfer money from the buyers to the owner's pocket. That's all it is. It's exactly the same as the Hawk-Tuah coin. Exactly. There is no difference. In fact, I'm fairly certain that the person who launched the Melania coin also launched the Hawk Tua coin. I'm fairly certain that's the same person. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
Changes. The firm holds on to these dollars, invests them, and
Troll Team 6, what's up? What's up, dog? I'll give you that low T.
keeps the profits for themselves. So the Trump-Witkoff company just gets basically a gift of capital. And if they just use that $2 billion to invest in treasury bonds, it would profit around $85 million a year from these investments alone. And the money.
And we would get that money. Oh, yeah, it could help pay down our debt. That'd be cool. But instead, Trump's getting it.
Money goes directly to Trump, just directly to Trump. It's literally not complicated. Emiratis, World Liberty Financial, Donald Trump. This isn't 1990s Louisiana. Nobody's hiding it. On World Liberty's website, they say an entity affiliated with Donald J. Trump owns 60% of the equity in the company. And because of this deal, Trump and Witkoff can further capitalize because Trump's stablecoin just became the fifth most valuable stablecoin in the world because of the Emirati.
What's the if the value is not bribing Donald Trump, it's the fifth most valuable coin in the world. If the value behind that coin is not the ability to bribe the president, then somebody explain to me the value. What's the utility of this coin? What's the value of this coin? Why is this coin going up? Somebody, if it's not to bribe the president, somebody please explain it to me. It doesn't have some sort of technology that is unusual or uncommon. There's no special like blockchain breakthrough. There is no utility for this coin, period. It is simply a vehicle to bribe the president. And I've explained this before, but we'll explain it again because might be a new MAGA here. What happens is, let's say I have $10 million and I want to give Donald Trump, because he's going to get 3%. Let's say I want to give Donald Trump $3 million for a bribe. And I say, I want to get this done. He's like, that's $3 million. Well, I can't write him a check for $3 million because that might get found. So what can I do? I can spend $10 million. I guess in this case, let's make it 1% so the math, or 2% so the math is easier. But let's say I want to give him $2 million, right? Nope, I need $4 million. Let's call it 1%. Sorry, my math is bad today. I want $1 million. So all I have to do is I buy some crypto. He takes the fee. He gets 1% of 10 million. That's $1 million. He just made $1 million. Now I could take my crypto out. I can transfer it. All I've lost is 1 million of that $9 million. The rest of that money is mine. So all I have to do is move, and I can take existing cryptocurrency and I can move it into his coin. He can get a bribe. He's going to take his percentage, the gas fee, if you guys trade crypto, and then I can move it out, and Trump has just made his gas fee. That's how this works. When they go in and they spend $30 million on crypto, Donald Trump's getting 3% of that. Well, 80% of 3%. So on a $30 million crypto deal, he's getting 80% of 3 million. And then you just take your money right back out. That's how they're bribing him. This scam is so simple. And what they've done now is, like, as an administration, is they go and they don't have the SEC looking into any of this. They don't have the FBI looking into any of this. They don't have the DOJ looking into any of this. They've basically dropped all these prosecutions. The Hawk Tua girl ran a pump and dump, obvious Ponzi scheme right in front of us, like just obvious. And everybody called it out. CoffeeZilla did. It was front page news. And then they dropped it. They're not even gonna prosecute her. Why? Because Trump is doing the exact same thing. So they're just like, you know what? We can't really prosecute people. Crime is legal now. You can just scam people because Donald Trump needs to keep this alive so that he can line his pockets. And not a single Republican is talking about this. This is fucking crazy. This has never happened. No president in the history of our country has taken open bribes ever. This is just openly in front of us taking bribes, and he's saying, I dare you to do something about it. And Republicans are so afraid of him that they're not going to do anything about it. He's going to make probably over $1 billion. I think he's made like $350 million off this so far. And then his net worth, because of the amount of coins that he owns, is even more than that. He's going to make billions of dollars in bribes while president, and we can't get you guys to care at all.
Investment.
Burisma. Look, this is the thing. I just wish you MAGA people would get out of your whataboutism asses and really look at it. If you're going to say Burisma, just go look how much money did Joe Biden make from Burisma, and then come back to me. And the answer is $0. And by the way, you know what Joe Biden did? Joe Biden could have done what Trump's doing. Joe Biden could have shut down the investigation into him, but he didn't. He just allowed it to occur. He sat down. He met with investigators. He allowed the investigation into his son to continue. He did all of that stuff while he was president. You can't even play whataboutism with this. Trump is shutting down investigations into crime. Joe Biden didn't do that. He allowed you guys to investigate. He allowed a Republican prosecutor, a Republican inspector general to do all this work, and they couldn't find any money. Trump won't even allow himself to be investigated, and you guys support that because cuck-a-doodle-doo. That's why. This is sick. You guys are honestly fucking sick. Not that this is the end of the world, that the president is taking bribes, but the sickness is you guys refusing to acknowledge it. Just right in front of your face, and you're like, no, 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 no. It's sick. It's a sickness. It's a mental disease. You guys are sick. It's crazy to show you this stuff, and your whataboutisms aren't even fucking close. What about Burisma? Yeah, we get it. 40% of his net worth he's made since he's been in office off of openly taking bribes. And no, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that. Let me read some comments. Marianne, thank you for the super chat there. Amanda says, happy Friday. Fuck Trump. Pass. Brandy says, for penance for repeatedly missing the start of the show. That's all right, Brandy. I miss the start of the show all the time. Jessica says, I love when you call MAGA so goddamn dumb. It's not all of them. It's some of them. Some of you guys are so goddamn dumb. Charles said, for the gift go, my friend. Dondrell said, why cut money when you can put them why cut money when you can put them off? I'm not sure what you mean by that. All right. Hey, Jen.
Ed.
Hey.
Here, I'll do some announcements. Remember you DM'd me about someone supposed to join today? I didn't hear back from them.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's just, I'll tell him. Well, actually, I'll just show you guys because we didn't get in touch with them. Go ahead and do your announcement, Jen. I'll pull it up.
Okay. All right. So we've got, how late are we planning on going? What's the,
how late did I start?
About a half hour late, I think.
Okay. We'll go a half hour.
Okay. So typically we start Friendly Friday around 12 noon Pacific time. We'll probably start Friendly Friday at 12:30 Pacific time. So before, that's like an hour and 15 from now. So before we get there, we'd like to knock out the rest of the gift goal. So if you guys could help us out, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all that good stuff, help us knock out that remaining balance. This is our job, as much as people disagree. And this is how we're crowdfunded and how we're able to keep doing this. So if you haven't already subscribed to us, please do so. We've got subscriptions on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, please, if you haven't already used your heart me's for the day, that'd be awesome. Also subscribe on Twitch. You can use an Amazon Prime sub. There's a free subscription on YouTube. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Or we also have 4 different memberships over there if you'd like to help support that way. If you disagree with RTP, we do take opposition before Friendly Friday, and how you do that is if you look at the Venmo, that is the same username as my Discord. If you DM me on Discord, I can bring you up to have a one-on-one conversation with Jay. And you don't have to cry in the comments. Also, check out our link tree in the bios. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, and Jay is also on Cameo. So that's all fun. Let's see. 1.7% of Americans are over the age of 30 are married to their third cousin.
Okay.
Not sure why they didn't figure it out after they married their first 2 cousins.
That was topical today. All right. This is what Jen was referencing. If you guys remember Gadget, he came on. He's on Twitter. He does a lot of investigative work about Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate basically went after everybody who has reported accurately on him, and he's suing everybody who ever reported negatively on him. So there is a group of people, and Gadget was one of them, but I don't know if they have the name of all the other journalists that were part of this. Anyways, they have a fundraiser. This is for donations in the U.S., and then they have one for UK. They're trying to raise $100,000. I think they're around like $80,000+ on the UK one. So they're getting close. But if you guys want to give to help out these journalists, who most of them aren't monetized on Twitter, so they're not even making money from their journalism, and they still have to pay court fees. These scumbags right here love to sue people and love to squash speech, just like all Republican grifters who pretend they're about free speech but always try and silence the speech against them. You can go to this. We'll drop it in the Discord, or you can go follow Gadget on Twitter, and you can find the fundraiser there. I did tell Gadget, like, just given the Mr. Jones stuff, I was always hesitant to do fundraising stuff, and I said that people would just want transparency. Let me figure. I forgot what he said about the transparency there. He just said he can give more details if you want to ask. He did send me the court filing. This shows the filing that from the Tate brothers against Murdered by Crayons, and I guess there's all the names. So there's the actual court filing. Jen will drop that in the Discord too. If we, I'll send it to you right now, Jen. But if you want to help out, and if you can help out, our friend Gadget is that's a lot of stress for Gadget to be dealing with, and a lot of these other creators. If Republicans weren't such fragile little bitches, we wouldn't have to do this. But here we are. All right, next part of the show. Okay, this was the story I was going to cover yesterday, but we'll get into it. Donald Trump made sure he let the people know that he did not invite the South African delegation to come to the White House. They reached out to him, and he made sure that we knew that. And the reason that the South African government reached out and wanted to meet with Trump is because Trump keeps saying that there is a genocide in South Africa against white people, and there is absolutely no evidence of that existing. And so not only did these members from opposing parties come, the director, or the Secretary of Agriculture, I think is what they call it there, who represents the party of most of the people who Trump brought over here, is there also saying this is not a genocide. There is a violence problem. There have been farmers who have been attacked. And let's just be clear. Like, here's what's happening in South Africa. In South Africa, there is a fringe minority party that makes up roughly 3% of the electorate. And those people, because they're allowed their freedom of speech, they are part of the government. But again, they make up 3%. None of those people are here today, or yesterday, maybe the day before, with Trump. None of them are in this room today. But they do say some awful things, and they do call for violence against specifically white people. That is a real thing that happens. But statistically speaking, in South Africa, I think it's like, I don't remember. I think it's like 13%. It might be 8% of the population is white. I can't remember, but only like 1% of the murder, or like 1% of the murders are white people. So it's actually more black people are being murdered in South Africa than white people. So they're just coming to say, like, we have a violence problem. We would love the help of the United States. We would love to get access to some of your technology, specifically drone technology, so that we can police this and we can put an end to the violence. But Trump didn't want to hear any of that. Trump's incapable of hearing any of that. In fact, Trump got really distracted during this meeting because somebody had the audacity to ask him a question that he didn't like. So Trump, in the middle of this conversation, decides, I'm just going to turn off the lights and force you to watch a video, which apparently is very difficult for them all to see. They all have to like turn around, crank their necks to see this video. And you can see everybody from South Africa just like, what the fuck? They try and tell him that this isn't happening, and many of these videos aren't even taking place in South Africa. Most of these videos are coming from the Congo, and I believe some of them are coming from Sudan. And they try to tell him, but Trump's not having any of it, because Trump has been absolutely convinced by one guy, Elon Musk, that there is a genocide of white African farmers.
There's nothing this parliament can do, with or without you. People are going to occupy land We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yeah. South Africa, occupy land. That's who we are. Honorable member, can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Honorable. Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared.
This is a good look into how Trump is educated. Trump thinks that what he's about to show is very convincing because Trump was very convinced by it. This is the evidence that he was given, and he's got a stack of papers that he's going to show in a minute too. Trump was convinced because Elon and some other people showed him some video clips without context and showed him some articles without context, and that's all it took. And so Trump is literally sitting here with the people who are running the government of South Africa and saying, listen, you guys don't know what's going on. I do. I'm the one that knows what's going on. Watch these video clips. You guys have no idea. What a bizarre thing to do.
To kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill.
Yeah. So obviously they can't even watch it. And he tried to interrupt at the very beginning. Nobody would let him interrupt. The irony of Donald Trump talking about a genocide while he sits in the Oval Office with these pictures behind him. The irony there of like, you guys are bad. Your country is bad. He's talking about a non-genocide that's happening. And then he has the audacity to sit there with these pictures behind him and lecture people about genocide. Right? I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a little bit silly. Is it right here? Yeah, here it is. Then later on, and I'll go back to Trump in a minute, but Caroline Leavitt was asked a question. At one point, Trump holds up all these papers, and one of the papers that he held up, and in that video, was a picture of of crosses. And the cross, and what Trump said is, this is a picture of a mass grave for white South African farmers. And what he was actually showing was a memorial for white South African farmers who had been murdered. And there was a cross representing each one of them. It was not a mass gravesite. And the reporter here is going to ask, why did Trump say that was a mass gravesite? And this is why this shit works on you. I just want, and I'm going to get to Charlie Kirk here in a little bit, but this is what they always do. They take the question that you ask, they change it to the question that they wanted you to ask so that their answer makes sense. Watch how good she is at this.
It's good to see you.
Hi, good. Thanks for taking the question.
Sure.
The president showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that?
True, Yamiche?
It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that video.
Okay, so just before she gets into her answer, so we're all clear, it's before MAGA can shift the goalposts, what question did she just ask? She asked why Trump said that a picture was a mass burial site for white South African farmers, and why did he call it a burial site when it wasn't a burial site? Okay, that's the question that was asked. Leavitt's answer should be whether or not, or why Trump said it was a burial site when it wasn't. But you can't ever say this guy made a mistake, and you can't ever say that he lied. So instead, you just pretend that they asked a different question, and you give an unrelated answer like this.
Video showed the crosses that represent
what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin.
The president
and those
claimed
crosses
that
are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it.
Yeah, but that wasn't the question, and that's not what Trump said. Do you see how upset they get? Do you see how upset they get when you just point out that Donald Trump made a mistake? Let's just say it's a mistake. Look how upset she is that they pointed out that Trump said something that wasn't true. And we all can acknowledge that what Trump said isn't true. And she's not saying, actually, it is true, and here's your evidence. She's saying, oh, well, they represent people who have died. Okay, but that wasn't the question. And look how mad she gets about that.
Are you disputing that there's no...
Disputing the fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
What's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that...
What's unsubstantiated about the video is that it's not a mass burial site. Jesus fucking Christ, these people. And you guys are defending it too. Oh, well, he misspoke. Then why doesn't she say he misspoke? You guys can say it. Why can't she say it? Why is she picking an argument? Why is she like, no, actually, you guys are wrong. If you guys can say he misspoke, why can't she say he misspoke? Do you see how this works? Somebody asks her a question she doesn't want to answer. She refuses to answer it. And you guys get mad at me and at her. The president is, the job of the president is to answer the fucking questions. And her job is to answer the fucking questions. But they get so mad if you ask them a question and they don't answer it and you point it out. You're like, that wasn't an answer to my question. That's what's going on here. And you guys get mad at us. This is why I say that, like, this is the dumbest cult, because this is an obvious lie. And it's such an obvious lie that she won't even defend it. And you'll still walk away with this, not saying, like, why is she lying? Why is she incapable of saying what we're capable of in the chat when you guys are saying, oh, you misspoke? Why can't she say that? Why doesn't she say that? Why did she change the question and get upset? This is the MAGA way. This is the only way you can defend Donald Trump. You cannot defend him by addressing concerns. You can only address or defend him with whataboutism and just shifting the goalposts immediately.
Represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder."
Great. So the Associated Press also didn't say it was a mass grave. Seems like the only person who said this was a mass grave was Donald Trump. And you can't just say that. Yeah, he misspoke.
So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated. And that's a ridiculous...
Take it up with them. And let's get the insult on the way out.
Up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated. And that's a ridiculous line of questioning.
Yeah, ridiculous. I didn't answer the fucking question. I didn't answer it at all. In fact, I ignored your question and made up a new question, and then I gave you evidence that proves that the question that you asked was correct, so fuck you and your unsubstantiated question. This is the dumbest administration. They just think you're this dumb. Honestly, they have no respect for you. They're just like, they're so goddamn dumb that we can say anything, and they won't care. They know it. Behind closed doors, I promise you, they sound just like me. They also can't believe that you buy this shit. They're also behind closed doors going, oh my God, that worked? Jesus Christ, these people are dumb. Amy Lynn said, you mean the AP said 2 weeks ago that wasn't truthful? Yeah, that's right. That's why your question is bad. Let's go. All right. You guys can watch that full video. How much time do we have? An hour left or so? All right. I want to get into this, and we can go back to other stuff after, because I did want to build on that. There is.
Hey, did you see my DM?
No. What did you? No. Do you want me to read it?
Well, no, you don't open my DM, but.
Let's just bring him up before Friendly Friday if he wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. All right. This is a clip from Jubilee, and I think that Caroline Levitt clip shows it, and this will show it. The pattern is always, as soon as you're stuck, play whataboutism or shift the goalpost. This lady who I met, because I filmed on the same day as this episode, so maybe my episode's coming out soon. I met her, and I immediately knew, without even talking to her about her beliefs, I immediately knew what her beliefs were. She made that very clear. But this was a debate that they had on immigration. And just watch how many times she shifts the goalposts or doesn't respond to a question.
People that go in and save the kids that have been trafficked.
We're talking about the powers that they're doing right now, where the
If
federal
they're
judges,
designated
judges have already stated against your case, against your opinion, they have already stated what they're doing is unconstitutional.
They're talking about the deportation without due process. That's what they're talking about right now.
Not only in the appellate courts, not only there, but also in the Supreme Court with that 9-0 decision against Abrego Garcia. So it doesn't matter what our opinions are. The judges themselves have already stated that what they're doing is too much. So do you agree or disagree with what the Supreme Court and the federal courts have been saying?
What I disagree with was the federal court, or the Supreme Court wasn't given the information before.
Guys, they just didn't get the information. I don't blame the Supreme Court. They just didn't get the information. That's the problem. And this, she knows.
That Kilmore had 2 deportation orders, that he was an MS-13 gang member.
You don't have evidence to support that claim.
Yes,
also,
I do.
No, you
yes,
don't.
I do.
No, you
yes,
don't.
I do.
What,
yes, I do.
What
Don't
evidence?
tell me what I do and
What
do not
evidence
have.
do you have?
Actually, court documents. Would you like to go over them?
Even if those courts...
By the way, the Supreme Court was very aware of those documents.
Say what you're saying.
She was actually right there. There is evidence that he was a gang member. There is evidence of that. Does that mean he was? No, but there's at least like evidence.
Which I don't believe. The issue is that the Supreme...
Who's your source?
What do you mean?
Who's your source?
Literally...
The Supreme Court.
The entire court system.
Not
and
the entire.
The judicial court system have disagreed with your claim, ma'am. And not only have they disagreed with your claim, the Supreme Court in a 9-0 decision have disagreed with your claim. So because of that, he should be brought back here. ICE is doing too much.
You want to bring all terrorists back to the country?
Oh,
it doesn't.
Oh, see, there it is. She doesn't catch any of that. The Supreme Court said you got to bring him back. Should we bring in all terrorists? This is why it's impossible to argue with you guys, because you don't care about any of this. Your sole goal is to never admit that Donald Trump did something wrong. That's the entire goal of the GOP. That's the entire goal of the right. So even when the Supreme Court rules 9-0, you guys still figure out a way to be like, nah, fuck them. We can't admit that Donald Trump did something wrong.
Matter whether they're terrorists.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Were you okay with J6ers being thrown in jail without due process?
And now there's the whataboutism. Has she yet addressed that the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 and that he's in open defiance of that? No, she didn't. First she said, oh, they didn't have the information. Then it was like, what do you want to bring all the terrorists back? What about J6ers? By the way, I think these debaters on the left, I thought he was doing a good job keeping his cool. I didn't love his arguments. I thought this could have been way more effective.
Yes. Did you fight for them? Did you fight for them? Did you fight for John Strand, who was in jail for 4 years without due process?
Let's look that up. John Strand. Does anybody know who John Strand is? I don't know. Let's see. January 6th. What do we got? Well, let me go back to the Google search. Florida man found guilty. Oh. Oh. Wait, the first one, that was court? He went to court? All right. 2 years and 8 months in prison. With due process. All right, so guess he got due process.
They go through due process.
No.
Okay, well, if they didn't go through due process...
And you guys were real silent about that, but give me an MS-13.
Yeah, because it looks like he had due process, right? See how this works? They do a whataboutism, then they chase you off into this whataboutism. You have to go look it up, and then you come back, and it's like you did have due process. He didn't have the benefit here of knowing who that defendant was. I will tell you, I've looked. There are 0 defendants who didn't get due process. 0. I haven't seen any. Tim Pool does. I think this is the guy Tim Pool talks about. Tim Pool always freaks out. He's like, he was in jail for 4 fucking years. We just saw, like, he got sentenced in 2022. This happened in 2021. Where were these 4 years without due process? This happened January 6, 2021. He was convicted in 2022. Where's she getting this 4-year number? See what I mean? But they just come up with a name, and they have a name that's been repeated, and they just move you along, and they never come back to the point. But the whole rest of the show is just going to be me showing you Republicans how they debate, even the best ones, and show you how they never answer questions, and their only goal is to never admit Donald Trump did something wrong. If they ever have an opportunity to say that somebody else in the Republican Party did something wrong, but it doesn't have to link to Trump, they're happy to do that. But they will never say that Trump did anything wrong. They have to defend everything blindly. And so far, she's went with the Supreme Court didn't have the information. We didn't care about due process, and we want all terrorists to just be let into the country.
13 member.
Whoa. We're not talking about Jan Sixers.
We are talking about due process.
We're not talking about insurrectionists here in the country.
Oh,
what we are talking about,
terrorist invaders are okay.
What we are talking about is ICE doing illegal activities unconstitutionally because they're not giving their due process to the people.
It's not illegal. The courts ruled that it was, but it's not.
That they're deporting.
What about the Alien Enemies Act that says that we don't have to give them due process?
The Supreme Court denies your claims because they told him to no longer do that because that is unconstitutional.
Nope,
so you can take that and throw it out the window.
It got reinvoked.
This guy's like 5'3", just for whatever that's worth. Like 5'3".
0 on the Supreme Court. So are you? I'm asking you again. Do you deny and disagree with the highest court?
Hey, ban cash beef forever.
Court.
We don't do transphobia here, bud. Eat a dick.
In the land about Abrego and potentially other people that have gotten no due process.
I 100% disagree with them because I have been in the freaking...
All right. So there we go. Now we're going to get to some other debates, some better debates, hopefully. I want to show you the difference between what they do and what Medi Hassan does. I think Medi Hassan is one of the most brilliant journalists that we've ever had. And I know you could cue the MSNBC stuff. So he's been so effective that Piers Morgan now has turned on Israel. In fact, almost everybody's turned on Israel. This was a masterclass by Medi Hassan.
Shit about you. Oh, control yourself, John. And you've come back and done exactly what they wanted to do. You've done their propaganda for them. Journalists have not been allowed freely into Gaza. That's why every major media organization on planet Earth has said to the Israeli government, you must allow journalists in. The Palestinian journalists who are there have been killed in record numbers. Of course, Piers, you're right. They want to hide what they're doing. That's why they're killing the journalists there and blocking the journalists from coming in. This idea that he's been on the ground. Yeah, I did interview a doctor, a British plastic surgeon, Dr. Tom Patoka. And by the way, he wasn't in the European hospital because the hospital got bombed by Israel. So he was in another hospital. And he talked to me about how he has to treat patients who have maggots in their wounds. He has to treat patients without limbs. He has to treat children. I've interviewed multiple doctors on the ground in Gaza, actually in Gaza, not hanging around with Israeli military. And they've all said the same thing. American doctors, British doctors, Canadian doctors. They've all talked about how many kids they saw with sniper bullets to the head and chest. Israel does intentionally kill civilians.
We just said that dude had a baby calf suit.
That's why Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant were indicted at the International Criminal Court for precisely those charges, for willful killing of Palestinians, for murder and persecution. That's why they've been indicted. That's why every human rights group in the world says war crimes are being committed. They've killed people holding white flags. We've seen it with our own eyes. They've bombed buildings without warning with families inside, like the Al Dos family.
Copperhead, shut the fuck up. You're here every day. You've never been banned. You're trying to fit in with other people who have been banned. You're too goddamn dumb for us to ban you. Nothing you say ever makes any sense. You have been here every day this week for the entirety of every live. You don't get banned. Stop trying to fit in with the other people who are breaking rules. Knock it off. You're not that guy. You're not clever enough to get banned. You're too dumb, and you've been here all week, nonstop, repeating the same shit all week. For all you Republicans out there on the YouTube chat that are looking at Copperhead saying like, "Hey guys, I get banned too," he doesn't. He's just trying to be cool. He's trying to fit in with you guys. He does not get banned. He sits here and whines in the comments all day, every day, just misspelling things.
That I often cite in October 2023. They've dropped 2,000-pound bombs on refugee camps full of hundreds of people. They have killed 7 aid workers in a clearly marked World Central Kitchen aid convoy. They've bombed World Food Programme convoys, leading to Cindy McCain, the wife of the most pro-Israeli senator of my lifetime, to come out and condemn Israel for attacking aid workers. John wants you to ignore Cindy McCain and British and American doctors and human rights groups and your own lying eyes watching people with white flags being gunned down. He wants you to believe him and his Israeli military minders. And by the way, I have a longer memory than maybe some people people in this country. After 9/11, I got asked the same question. Well, what should we do if we don't bomb Afghanistan? What should we do if we don't go after bin Laden, etc.? How did that work out? 23 years later, your pal Donald Trump is taking pictures with the former leader of Al-Qaeda, who's still on a globally designated terrorist wanted list, right? That's where we came. The war on terror was a complete failure. And some of us who saw that, and by the way, Joe Biden even said this.
God, he's no notes. No notes. This is an absolute destruction of the pro-Israel side. Absolute destruction of like, oh, Israel's the good guy.
One of his more coherent moments, he said Israel should learn from our lessons. Israel did not learn from the US lessons. And actually, even if you forget about all the innocent Palestinians they killed, even if you don't give a shit about the people of Gaza, even if you only care about the people of Israel, Israel's not any safer today. Israel is not winning this war. John said on Times Radio a year ago, I went back and checked, March of last year, John said, we're very close to winning. Israel's close to victory. Over a year later, they're not close to victory. They're just starving children and denying baby formula. And the former Israeli general who ran the Gaza division said a few months ago, Hamas is winning this war. So they've not made themselves any more secure. I don't have some perfect solution for what they should have done on October 7th, but I do think they shouldn't have killed 50 to 100,000 people, and they should have made themselves less secure. The International Criminal Court.
I'm just going to stop it there. I just want to show you what it looks like when you bring facts. And now we're going to talk about somebody who doesn't bring facts.
If you care about faith,
Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to, we're going to, a bunch of people who were here yesterday or the day before saying I would never debate Charlie Kirk or any of these, or that one loser that, Jen, can you find me the video of Andrew Wilson not being able to open a pickle jar? Oh shit! Hey, I just got notice my Jubilee episode is going to. Let's see. Wait, am I allowed to say this? Okay, June 1st. My Jubilee episode will be released on June 1st. We have an announcement on that, so great. All right, Charlie Kirk. Sorry, I got distracted. People say that I won't debate Charlie Kirk. I would love to debate Charlie Kirk, but I would need it in an open forum. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how Charlie Kirk debates and why Charlie Kirk is an effective debater if you don't know what the debate is about. Charlie Kirk never debates the actual topic. Charlie Kirk has this style, and what Charlie Kirk does is Charlie Kirk rattles off a list of facts or a list of events. He doesn't tie them together, and then when you try and respond, he'll either cut you off or you'll never have time to respond to all 10 points. So Charlie Kirk named this video, this is his channel, named this video, so it's not edited. He named it Charlie Kirk Takes Down Extremely Bouncy Cambridge Student. The person he's debating obviously has some sort of like nervous tick, and so that was silly. But before Charlie Kirk can tell you about his debate, Charlie Kirk needs to sell you something. Charlie Kirk needs to be a grifter. Look at this ad. I didn't know this ad. And by the way, Charlie Kirk on YouTube, like nobody will advertise with Charlie Kirk on YouTube. Like he doesn't get monetized because he lies so much. So he has to like put in his ads. It's also why he gets so much money though, because he just promotes products like this.
If you care about faith, family, and freedom, listen up. I'm proud to partner with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. While AARP pushes a woke agenda, AMAC is fighting for Social Security.
This is the anti-woke AARP with that creepy-ass smile. He's selling the anti-woke AARP. Look at all the stuff you get.
Election integrity, and to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. You can get an AMAC membership for as little as $12 a year, and it includes your spouse. You also get discounts, benefits, and the AMAC magazine packed with conservative insight. Go to amac.us/Kirk and join the movement. That's amac.us/Kirk. Do it today.
Do it today. Now we'll get to the debate.
And the final question that we've got time for today is from Sammy McDonald from St. John's College.
All right, so I don't think he's Cambridge. They said he's from St. John's, so like we already fucked up the title here by Charlie Kirk, but he didn't listen to that. Charlie Kirk's ready in his suit and Skechers, I think.
Good evening, Mr. Kirk. You've obviously devoted a lot of your life to electing, keeping in power Donald Trump, and you did so partly because you said Trump would put Americans first and take them out of foreign conflicts. Shall we see how that is going at the moment? Currently, Trump has just accepted a $400 million debt from Qatar, which we're assured is perfectly above board. Billions in arms are going to Saudi Arabia, which they're using to bomb and starve Yemeni children. Not sure how that's in the interest of the United States, but it might be in the interest of the $5.5 billion deal his failed sons...
Keep your eye on the people in the chat that said Charlie Kirk destroys this fool, or Charlie Kirk wins this debate. Those are the people that don't understand what the topic is. Charlie Kirk doesn't even address the topic. Charlie Kirk never gets close to addressing the topic, and Charlie Kirk absolutely loses his cool and loses his place.
Receiving. At the same time, in arms are going to Saudi Arabia, which they're using to bomb and starve Yemeni children. Not sure how that's in the interest of the United States, but it might be in the interest of the $5.5 billion deal his failed sons are receiving. At the same time, this great president of peace has greenlit mass killings not just in Yemen, but in Gaza, where he greenlit an invasion called Operation Gideon's Chariot with the express aim of wiping out the Gazan population. You promised to put America first. Haven't you and your ilk sold America out?
Okay, the question is, you promised to put America first. Have you and your ilk, you and the Republicans, sold America out? That's the question. Now, we're going to find out if Charlie Kirk's going to answer the question about whether or not they are selling America out. This is also bizarre that he doesn't look at people. It is bizarre that he consistently stares down. This is one of the first times I've really seen Charlie Kirk like actually nervous. I do think that going to Cambridge as somebody who rips college students, like this was a big moment for him. And he's celebrating it like he did well, and conservatives think he did well. But the rest of the world saw Charlie Kirk for exactly who he was in this debate.
No. Well, I'm glad you have great intellectual substance and can answer. Because it's all the culture wars for you, isn't it? The second someone actually tells you what you're doing, which is read...
Now, real quick, I want to point out, not that it matters, because I interrupt people. I just want to put this will come in handy later. Charlie Kirk just interrupted him. He set down the mic. He allowed Charlie to answer. Charlie said no, and then he set down his mic, and then he started talking. And Charlie didn't have an answer for any of that. So now Charlie is going to do what Republicans do when they're waiting to get an answer, when they're trying to figure out an answer. They're going to criticize the person across from them. They're going to antagonize the person across from them rather than addressing the question, did you sell people out? Did you sell out the Americans?
Because it's all the culture wars for you, isn't it? The second someone actually tells you what you're doing, which is read.
Can you calm down a little bit? Like, just a little bit. You're pounding the table, you're all over the place. No. You want me to go piece by piece? Or would you like me to talk slower?
I think you can.
The problem wasn't that you were talking too fast, Charlie. You said one fucking word. But remember, again, the question is, did you sell out the American people? So Charlie's answer should have something to do with, did we sell out the American people?
Number one, Donald Trump is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Joe Biden gave them armaments.
That's going well, isn't it?
It's going well. Can you not interrupt me? Well? I allowed you to talk uninterrupted.
Okay, so Charlie Kirk interrupted twice, and now he said, I allowed you to talk uninterrupted. I just wanted to point that out, that this is another thing that they do. They interrupt, but then they get mad when you interrupt, and Charlie Kirk does this all the time. And the reason Charlie Kirk is frustrated right now that he got interrupted is because Charlie Kirk's about to rattle off a list of pre-packaged talking points that he has prepared. Because the difference between like an intelligent debater and Charlie Kirk is that an intelligent debater can have a conversation. Charlie Kirk, it just rattles off talking points, and that's it. So Charlie got interrupted on his first talking point, and now he's mad that he got interrupted, and it fucked up his flow. But again, the question is, did you and your ilk sell people out?
Famous for not interrupting.
I haven't interrupted a single person here today. Can I speak uninterrupted?
Except for that guy twice, just barely.
Actually? Okay. He is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. I believe we will see an end to that war. Number two, he's actually
talking... So that's the thing that hasn't happened yet? No peace there yet?
...to Iran and discouraging Israel to strike the interior of Iran, and has stopped many other international countries to do the same.
So he's discouraged Israel. Okay.
Three, can you give him credit for ending the Indian-Pakistan war?
The lean forward. So first of all, he talked to Israel, and he's trying to talk to Russia. And third of all, can you give him credit for ending this war?
Both of them said he didn't do that.
Whoops.
Well, hold on a second.
Except for India and Pakistan said he had nothing to do with it.
Let's go back.
No, that's important.
Russia, Ukraine.
Hold on, that's important.
Can I speak now?
Yes, but the Indian-Pakistan thing, you got to go deeper than that.
Let's go in order. Is a peace summit where the main person in question, Russia, doesn't show up, is that a success, Mr. Kirk?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure.
Is that a success?
Well, again, these are ongoing negotiations, and it's a lot better than when you're.
Just say no. Is he going to answer the question, or is he about to do whataboutism? Charlie Kirk is not. The answer to that question is no, and he doesn't have the balls to say it. Was the peace negotiation where the other party didn't show up a success? Of course not. Everybody, of course that's not. But you can't ever say that Donald Trump did something wrong. You're not allowed to. So Charlie Kirk's going to play whataboutism now.
Show up. Is that a success, Mr. Kirk?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure.
Is that a success?
Well, again, these are ongoing negotiations, and it's a lot better than when your Prime Minister Boris Johnson went alongside our
ad hominem and whataboutism. Ad hominemism.
Secretary of State Tony Blinken to Istanbul and unnecessarily blew up a potential Russian peace deal, which has resulted in hundreds of thousands of dead Ukrainians, one of the great unnecessary wars of the modern era. Donald Trump.
Did he answer the question? This is the problem. This is why you guys think that Charlie Kirk wins in debates, because he never stays on topic. And what he tries to do, he's going to get exposed pretty bad later in this, but what Charlie tries to do, and Tim Pool does this too, they have obscure stories that they know about. And they have obscure like times when something was a little bit, and they only talk about that. And that what they always just try and get you to do is point out that the thing that you're talking about right now, you don't actually care about, because you don't know every time in the history of the world that something similar has happened. What they won't do is address the question, was it a success that Vladimir Putin and the Russians did not show up? Why is that a success? And instead he said, Anthony Blinken and Boris Johnson, Trump's doing better than them. Okay.
Believes in conversation and police through strength. He has been president for well over 120 to 130 days, and he has already ended a war between two nuclear conflicts of India-Pakistan.
No, he didn't.
He has secured our own U.S. southern border while we were being invaded by foreign powers.
No, we weren't, and the Supreme Court ruled that the Alien Enemies Act was used improperly.
And thirdly, he is brokering a potential settlement with Iran that will prevent a major escalation in the Middle East. And finally,
so he ended a war that he had nothing to do with. He stopped an invasion that didn't exist, and he's talking about another deal. And the question was the deal between the Ukraine and Russia, the summit that never happened, was that a success? Do you see how he doesn't answer the question? Nowhere near answering the question. And Republicans will watch this and they'll be like, dude, this guy fucks, dude. I love this guy. He's owning this kid. The kid's confused. The whole point of a Republican debating strategy is just to get to something that they don't know and then dismiss everything they've said because this obscure story they don't know about. Unfortunately for Charlie, this kid knew every fucking thing he was talking about. Every fucking thing. Most people don't, and that's why Charlie Kirk looked smart, because of his strategy. But he ran up against somebody who was more prepared than him and could see through his bullshit. Again, though, Charlie didn't answer the question.
It's very difficult, but I believe they'll get it done, that will finally see an end to the Russian-Ukrainian war.
I'm just going to disregard the enormous lies you just put out there about Russia and Ukraine. Okay. But do you really think leverage, negotiations work if you cut off all your leverage and scream at one party in the Oval Office? Don't you think that has just emboldened Russia? Because look at the approach. Putin thinks so much of your glorious president, he can't even be asked to show up. You have elected, or help elect, somebody who is at best an idiot and at worst is deeply corrupt.
Okay, again, so Trump and Putin had a 2-hour phone call today. You'll acknowledge that's a good thing. The pursuit of peace can sometimes be a winding road, and it's a lot better than sending...
And again, the question was it a success? He's still not answering that. Was it a success? Well, he had a phone call, and the winding road to peace is sometimes long and arduous. Just say no. Just say no. The answer to the question is no, Charlie.
Hundreds of billions of dollars further into the killing fields of eastern Ukraine, something that tragically both the UK government and the US government has been unnecessarily supporting for a couple of years. President Trump wants to see a brokerage, an ending of this settlement. I pray we can get it. It's very complicated because of the mess that Joe Biden left, which was an active kinetic war with a nuclear power sending...
There we go. Now we got the shifting of the blame here. I'm not going to answer the question. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ramble incoherently when a simple yes or no would have done here, and then oh, now I'm going to blame Joe Biden.
American-made missiles into the interior of Russia. So President Trump has already ended a war. He's ended an invasion. He's only 130 days into this. And I believe, we do not know. At this point, we are merely speculating, which I think we should not spend our time doing that, because eventually one of us will be right. I believe we'll be right, and I believe we'll see an end to this war.
Can we just talk about 100 billion's worth of weapons? Because you dodged my question on what was going on in the Middle East, where Trump has just signed enormous arms contracts with Saudi Arabia and with Qatar. And I noticed you ignored the fact that this might have had anything to do with the blatant corruption going on through the Trump coin and going on through giving the very competent sons of Donald Trump billions of investment from Saudi Arabia and Qatar. This is something that is directly embroiling Americans into conflict, but is importantly killing many innocent people. Those nations have been known to terrorize innocent civilian populations. So if you're coming to me and you're objecting to America selling weaponry, why are you defending shilling for the Saudis?
Well, hold on. One is sending weaponry, one is purchasing. Secondly, you do know that the biggest purchase that was announced was commercial airliners, 737, $100 billion. We've heard of Qatar Airways.
Again, so the question was, for following that, you're talking about Ukraine. Charlie, out of nowhere, just said, like, the problem is that in Ukraine, we're sending weapons. And then he points out correctly that we have weapons deals with Qatar, and Charlie's correct that those are deals that they're paying for. But Ukraine's actually also offering to pay back now. That's what the mineral rights deal is, right? So Ukraine will pay us back, or in part pay us back. But the question here is, like, why are we selling weapons to people who have been our enemies before?
They purchased $100 billion of commercial airways. You are right, there were some weapons contracts. But I guess the question is, would you rather have Saudi Arabia buy weapons from America or China?
I'd rather they not have American weaponry at cut price rates.
See, I disagree.
Why would anybody care about that outside of the United States, though? It's an interesting question. Would you rather have them buy weapons from America or China? If I'm not in the United States, like, who cares? Why would he care? Why would anybody else in the world care where they get their weapons from? Look at the history. Is China causing a problem? Has China been embroiled in wars for like 100 straight years? Has China been invading other countries for like 100 straight years? No, I mean, right? You have you've had problems with Vietnam, or excuse me, with Japan, North and South Korea. China's not doing near the invasion that we're doing. They're not doing near the intervention that we're doing. I would say that if you're just looking at the track record, if you're Europe and you're like, who am I more concerned about? Probably not China. Probably not. If I'm the Middle East, I'm probably not more worried about China than the United States. I'll probably be like, yeah, they can buy their shit from China. I don't care. Charlie has this assumption that everybody thinks that the United States is the good guy.
Talk about Qatar for a second.
Okay, fine.
You mentioned Qatar. You've been talking a lot about Hamas and the evils of Hamas. Can I ask you, who's the main funder of Hamas?
Well, the Palestine.
State?
Well, the West actually funds Hamas.
Which state?
Well, Iran funds.
No. Where are the Hamas leaders?
And also Qatar funds Hamas.
Yes.
It is a combination of international relief organizations.
Is this a state we should have a 400 million jet with the President of the United States on it?
Hold on. First of all, it was not given to him personally. I understand the optics of it, but it was not given to him personally. It was given to the U.S. government. And under.
Do you notice how they've just changed this? Do you notice just out of nowhere, like, the Trump team is now saying that it was given to the Air Force? It wasn't. It was given to Trump, and then it was for him to use, and then it was going to go to his library. Do you notice how they've just changed that story and out of nowhere? Notice how this is what they're saying now? Because everybody recognized that, like, oh, going to Trump's library, he's going to have use for that. I don't know. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how Republicans are letting this happen. Why are you guys cool with them just, like, now changing the story? It wasn't given to the United States military. They might have changed the deal, but that's not how this went down.
For that standard, no U.S. government should ever receive any gifts from any foreign countries whatsoever. It's not given to him personally, and not a violation of the.
Why is he trying to transfer it to his personal library? He is
actually okay. Again, he sent out a statement. This is way too in the weeds. If you want to keep on going it, we can.
It's not in the weeds. It's a fundamental moral principle.
Okay, so under that.
Again, the kid's right. Charlie says it's in the weeds. It's not in the weeds. This is very easy to. This isn't complex. This is what they announced. They announced that it would go to Trump, he could use it, and then it would be gifted to his presidential library. And now he's saying that it was gifted to the Air Force. What's in the weeds is that you guys changed the story because you got in trouble. And again, The only reason that you guys aren't allowed to tell the truth is because you're not allowed to say Donald Trump did something wrong. If you guys were just allowed to say Trump did something wrong, this wouldn't be so pathetic. But you're not, because like when you're in a cult, the leader can't ever be wrong.
Fundamental moral principle then. Can you acknowledge, though, that President Trump is getting more done in a less period of time than any president we've seen, while our prior president did not even know what year he got elected? You understand the contrast here?
What aboutism again? I'm not a defender of Biden.
No, I'm not saying.
Yeah, once again, all Charlie Kirk wants to do is be like, but there's a bad one, but what about? He's sweating his ass off, by the way. Did you guys notice that? This is why people think Charlie Kirk's good at this. Charlie Kirk he can't stay on topic. He just always brings back, he always tries to catch you slipping. He always tries to catch you in a scenario where you look like a hypocrite, and then he will stay on that forever, and that's where it'll get clipped. They'll clip that off there, and they won't, the rest of the debate, they won't clip the rest of the debate where Charlie Kirk didn't answer a single question. They'll just clip that one part where they can find that, like, because you didn't know something else that was similar, therefore you can't care about this. If you don't care about everything, then you can care about nothing.
President Trump is far better than the predecessor.
You have to defend the person you spent millions to elect.
I will defend every day of someone who ends an invasion.
That's all you do,
brings down the price of oil, who is revitalizing the American economy, who's brokering peace, who stopped the potential nuclear war, who is bringing Iran to the table and bringing Russia to the table, someone who does not want armed conflict.
There's the Gish Gallop. It's just a Gish Gallop of talking points now. Because he had an opportunity to get out of the conversation. And this is the hard part about debating Charlie, is if you let him get out of the conversation, he'll get the fuck out of the conversation so he can list off a bunch of things that he views as accomplishments. And you'll never have time to address all of those. The fact that like most of those things aren't true, you'll never have a chance to address them. But on Charlie, when Charlie clips it, the Republicans are like, oh, he fucking nailed it. No, he didn't. He's not talking about anything that they're talking about in this debate. Now he's just jacking off Donald Trump from across the ocean.
With the greatest powers of our time, I will defend that endlessly.
Well, living
what are you defending?
in a fantasy world of your own creation. So it's quite hard to engage
that, but then disprove it.
But let's check on how Trump is doing in terms of diplomacy. Look, with the war in the Middle East, do you think it was a defensible decision to tell the Israelis you wanted Trump Gaza to agree for Israel to invade the Gaza Strip and to continue to murder thousands of innocent children and civilians in a pointless war? Is that in America's interest? Is that in humanity's interest?
Well, first of all, you should know something about Trump. There's something, if you realize with Trump over the last 10 years, he is quite the social media user and uses hyperbolic language.
Hold on. He doesn't mean what he means. That's the thing about Trump. The thing about Trump is you have to realize is that if he ever says something fucking stupid, it was a joke. And if he ever says something wrong, it was 4D chess. And if he gets something right, he's a fucking genius. That's the thing you have to realize about Donald Trump, is that it's the most important part about being a fan of Donald Trump is keeping his dick in your mouth at all times and never criticizing him.
At times. But let me ask you, in the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, who's the good guy?
I believe both Hamas and the Israeli government are evil.
Boom! That's the right answer. That should always be the right answer. Charlie was trying to set up this situation where he could argue that Israel was better than Hamas, and he didn't take the bait. He's like, no, they're both evil.
I think also that there is no justification.
Are they equally?
There is no justification.
Now Charlie is scrambling right now because Charlie's like, fuck. He said they're both evil. Okay, no, they're equally? Because Charlie was prepared to defend Israel because Charlie thinks Israel is the good guy and that Hamas is the bad guy. And what he did brilliantly is say, nope, they're both evil. And Charlie's like, uh-oh, well, which one's the morest evil? Because I think that I need you to say that Israel is morest evil. And he's just like, no, they're both bad.
For the murder and mutilation of thousands of innocent people and children.
Well, let's
futile.
Let's zero in on it.
There is no justification, Mr. Kirk, for invading hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West's security.
You've made that point, but
it's not a point; it's a moral truth, isn't it?
Okay, yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage.
There we go. Now, Charlie. See, here's the best part. Charlie wanted to debate so bad that Israel was better than Hamas, and the kid didn't take the bait. The kid's like, they're both evil, but I'm not going to justify, like, unlike you, Charlie, I'm not going to justify the evil actions. And Charlie's like, fuck. Oh, well, I'll just do it anyways. I'll just pretend that we're arguing that Hamas is the good guy and Israel's the bad guy. And so now I'm going to go scorched earth for Israel. I'm just going to pretend that we're having this conversation anyways, because I don't have an answer to they're both evil. Because if I have to answer for what Israel did without being able to whataboutism back at this kid for Hamas, then I don't really have anything. So Charlie just says, fuck it, I'm doing my scripted stuff anyways.
And when you declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish, I let you talk.
Oh.
Israel...
Oh, Charlie's got his stern voice. This is what you do. Tim Pool does this too. When they're flustered, they just get pissed and they say things with authority. Now he's just going to rattle off a bunch of talking points with authority, and he doesn't want you to interrupt his talking points because he prepared hard for these. Even though it's not part of the discussion right now, he prepared and he's going to get this out. God damn it!
It's holiest day of the calendar year besides Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, Samat Torah, the 50-year anniversary of the Six-Day War. On Shabbat, Hamas invaded Israel, deciding to go recklessly to music concerts, to homes, to kibbutzes, and taking 200 plus hostages. They knew what they were doing. In one of the most cloistered urban environments on the planet, 2 million people live in a place where it's impossible to wage war. Impossible. Where they wear civilian clothing, they violate every tenet of the Geneva Convention, and the IDF, when they do something right, they get no credit. When they do life-saving surgeries of a Gazan child, they get no credit. When they drop leaflets, they get no credit. But when they happen to bomb a place where they are operating their military...
Guys, the IDF's not getting enough credit. People are getting mad at them because they're doing a genocide, but nobody ever talks about what the good things that the IDF is doing. That's what makes Charlie Cook mad today. He didn't know what to do. Charlie Kirk had no fucking clue what to do with this guy saying Hamas and Israel are both evil. And he's like, fuck! I'm just going to read. I'm just going to say it anyways. I'm just going to pretend that that's the conversation we're having.
From which we now know from third-party verified sources, hundreds of Hamas military operations are in mosques, schools, and hospitals. I'm sorry, the country where they were living in relative peace on October 6th, that all of a sudden we had a war, and Hamas started the war. And I don't see people that were really upset about the 2 million Germans that were killed in World War II, civilians. A tragic truth of war is that civilians die.
All right, well, now let's compare, Charlie. If we're doing apples to apples here, who killed the Germans? Was it the people who were having a genocide committed on them? Was it the Jewish folks? Maybe the reason nobody talks about the Germans, and maybe the reason nobody talks about the IDF and looks at the Germans and the IDF as victims, he just said it. They don't get any credit for the good things that they do. How come nobody talked about how the Germans were out working at food banks? How come nobody ever talks about that? Because they're the bad guys, Charlie. Because they're doing the genocide, Charlie. So people don't really feel bad for the people doing the genocide, Charlie. Charlie got so distracted in his argument that now he's arguing that the IDF and the Germans are the same. Why didn't anybody talk about the Germans? Because they were the ones that were doing the genocide. Why doesn't anybody talk about the IDF? Because they're the ones doing the genocide. He answered his own question. And there's still Republicans in here like, he's killing this debate. He's debating himself now. He just walked himself into a position where the IDF and the Germans are the same. Not great.
I don't like it, and you don't like it. And they brought it upon themselves. The only operation and entity to blame is the leadership of Hamas, not the Israeli government, for fighting this defensive war after they were invaded.
He just did it. I don't care if you said they're both evil. I'm going to do my prepared argument anyways. I'm going to do it. Fuck you, dude. How dare you? How dare you not be give me the answers I was looking for? I'm just doing it.
I'm no defender of the terrible pogrom that was launched against Jews on that day. But the justification for the death of innocents cannot be an infinite cycle of bloodlust. It cannot be killing tens of thousands of innocent civilians with a war with no end in sight, people who were not complicit in those atrocities. It cannot be bombing hospitals which children use. It cannot be bombing hospitals in which cancer patients are dying and starving in there. The deaths that have been inflicted, nobody knows the true toll, but somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people lie dead under the rubble. And what is left for Gaza except for to continue to suffer under Hamas? Because it turns out Netanyahu's political strategy has not worked. It has entrenched Hamas within the territories. To be a Christian, I would have thought, Mr. Kirk, would never have involved suggesting that the price for an atrocity must be an infinite cycle of bloodlust, that innocent people and the young population must be killed to avenge some kind of providential quest. How can you call yourself a Christian? Well, you just did.
I want to make sure we get that.
Actually, he just did. Now, he accused him of saying like bloodlust and like that how could a Christian justify going after and killing innocent men, women, and children? And Charlie said, this is at 11:20 because I want to go back. Charlie says he never said that. Let's start Charlie's rant. I think it's right. Is it here?
Let's zero in on. There is no justification, Mr. Kirk, for invading hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West security.
You've made that point, but
it's not a point, it's a moral truth, isn't it?
Okay, yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage.
Okay. Remember, Charlie didn't advocate for an outsized reaction. Remember, Charlie just said he didn't advocate for that.
Declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish, I let you talk.
Firestorm in reaction.
At its holiest day.
If you attack them, expect a firestorm in reaction. And then he says he didn't say it.
News. It cannot be bombing hospitals in which cancer patients are dying and starving in there. The deaths that have been inflicted, nobody knows the true toll, but somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people lie dead under the rubble. And what is left for Gaza except for to continue to suffer under Hamas? Because it turns out Netanyahu's political strategy has not worked. It has entrenched Hamas within the territories. To be a Christian, I would have thought, Mr. Kirk, would never have involved suggesting that the price for an atrocity must be an infinite cycle of bloodlust, that innocent people and the young population must be killed to avenge some kind of providential quest. How can you call yourself a Christian? Well, you just did.
I want to make sure we get...
He's right. You just did. Charlie doesn't even know what he said. I've never said that, except for 2 minutes ago when I said exactly that.
Our moral clarity straight before we proceed. No one likes what's happening in Gaza. No one with a heart or a soul or a mind likes when kids die. But you must understand who started the conflict so that you could end it correctly.
Nobody likes when kids die, but those motherfuckers started it, so fuck them kids. Nobody likes it, but we'll justify it. Yeah, that's the point. You see, you don't have to be on a side here that it advocates for killing children. You can just be pro not killing children. And if you're pro not killing children, then you are probably anti-Hamas, and you are probably anti-IDF. It's not hard. It's really not hard to find the right position in this conflict. The only people who can't seem to find the right position in this conflict are people who won't admit that their side made mistakes, including Charlie Kirk. And including, frankly, anybody on our side of the aisle who's like, yeah, no, Hamas is good. I'll say the same thing to them. Anybody who is defending Hamas, also bad. But it is defending Israel is the same as defending Hamas. There's no morally, it's the same thing. Innocent people have been murdered. And if you're defending the actions of people who murder innocent people, fuck you. And this kid is not defending the murder of innocent people. Charlie Kirk is, and he's doing it with whataboutism. I don't like it, but it happens. I don't like it, but I'm not going to say shit about it when it happens.
Correctly. And until Hamas brokers an unconditional surrender, of which they are unwilling to do, they could release the hostages and drop their weapons and their lives would be spared. Instead, they are using children.
Unless Hamas quits and says that they were at fault for everything and lets Israel do whatever the fuck they want. Unless these unconditional surrender terms are met, then fuck them. We're just going to keep killing children. This is what Charlie's saying.
Gaza as cannon fodder, financed by the Iranian mullahs and dragging the entire world into this conflict.
And who else? And who else, Charlie? How about the Qataris? How about that? Weird that he left them out, right? They always talk about funding from Iran, but they leave out the people that are funding Donald Trump right now.
I don't even know what we're debating at this point, other than I believe that Israel...
First honest thing he said. I don't know what we're debating at this point. I have no idea, because I thought you were going to defend Hamas, and when you didn't, it fucked up my whole shit. So I don't know what we're debating, but I am yelling about it.
I believe the facts. Israel was unconditionally attacked on October 7th. They're responding in kind. And I would just ask you a very simple moral question. How should Israel have responded?
Not with the blanket carpet bombing of the city, not with bombing hospitals. Of course, some kind of military operation might have been necessary, but not murder on this scale.
He's so good. He's so good, because what Charlie wanted him to say is Charlie wanted him to say something silly and come up with a solution, like another way that that Israel could have responded. He didn't take the bait. He said, just don't kill kids. It's not my job to tell Israel how to respond, but I don't support them if they're going to kill kids. Perfect. Charlie doesn't know what to do with this, because Charlie's used to debating with people that he gets worked up, and it's in short clips. And those times when he rattles off 10 straight facts, that works. Unless you go up against somebody really intelligent who knows the game that you're playing and refuses to play by your rules and is just going to have an actual debate. And Charlie is lost. He's literally just said I don't even know what we're debating at this point.
There is no justification for what is happening with the enormous death toll that is being produced. I really cannot see how you come here and you have the gall to lecture us on Christian morality and then sit here and justify the murder of thousands of civilians. And is it working, Mr. Kirk? Is Hamas dismantled?
I've never said that.
You just did.
Well, no.
This is your whole
war.
He just said it. He just said that. 2 seconds. Charlie doesn't know what he says. He's such a pre-programmed propagandist that he'll say, this is the second time in a row now that he said something. This young man points it out and he goes, I didn't say that. Yeah, you did, bitch. Yeah, you did. You just said that.
These are called casualties of a war.
We're going to need to stop bringing this
Again,
to close.
I'm not going to justify every military maneuver of a 100,000 person army. Instead, what I will do is I'll be clear that there is a good guy and there is a bad guy. I honestly...
not the morality.
I'm too dumb to figure this shit out. So I've boiled down my opinion to there's a good guy and a bad guy. And even though both sides are bad guys, I've decided to boil everything down to there's a good guy and a bad guy, and I will blindly defend the person I'm calling the good guy because I don't really know how to debate. Because all I am is a very talented, very well-funded propagandist. So I don't debate. I just pick a side and defend a side. So I'm really fucked up in this right now because I'm not really sure what to do with you. You don't seem to have a side, sir. You seem to just want innocent people to not die, and I don't really know what to do with that position.
Let's have a child.
Well, instead, hold on.
Let me go back. Sorry.
Stop bringing this
Again,
to close.
I'm not going to justify every military maneuver of a 100,000 person army. Instead, what I will do is I'll be clear that there is a good guy and there is a bad guy. I honestly...
Isn't that the morality of a child?
Well, hold on. It's interesting you say that, because a child who knows that Israel is the good guy, Hamas is bad, has a lot more wisdom than a student like yourself at Cambridge University.
I will be...
What? What? A child that knows that Israel's killing children. A child that knows that Israel's the good guy is a lot smarter than you. No, dude, you just didn't like that he didn't take your bait this whole time. If I asked my child, there's two sides, and they're both killing children. Is there a good guy? She'd say no. But that's just a child. Charlie Kirk is a child. Charlie Kirk only knows one thing. He only knows how to be combative. He only knows how to play whataboutism. He only knows God, why do I keep saying knows how to pick a side. This was my problem a little bit with the Unfuck America tour. Is that the Unfuck America tour followed Charlie around and then they tried to do what Charlie Kirk does. And what they should have done is, and I saw some examples of this, but rather than bringing a crowd around and getting them to go, oh, when you dunk on them, you should figure out how to have a conversation. Because the reality is that even the Republicans that are here that don't like me, if we were to sit down and have a conversation, and there was nobody here watching, and you said, and I said, I just don't think innocent women and children and men should be killed, you'd be like, yeah, that's true. And I would say, I think that Israel is wrong and I think Hamas is wrong. And you would say, that's true. This is what really kind of sucks about like debate is this style of debate I really like. And I would love for them to have a substantive debate. But debate has literally just become pick a side, defend it blindly. And that's it. That's all Charlie Kirk knows how to do. And frankly, that's like most people now. That's like most political people is they just pick a side and they blindly defend it. And it sucks. If you guys were around for our debates last night, the first person that I debated, the question that stumped them was when they did a whataboutism. And I said, Biden was a mediocre president. And he's like, fuck, you don't think he was great? And I said, no, I don't think he was a great president. He was bad. He was mediocre. And he didn't know what to do with that. And frankly, like that's the anger that comes from the right towards me. That's the problem that we have here. And that's why I fucking hate Charlie Kirk's entire movement. Because his movement is dunking. His movement is owning the libs. Charlie Kirk's not capable of a discussion. Charlie Kirk has gone up against people smarter than him a handful of times who won't play the game, and he gets absolutely mopped. He gets mopped by this guy. He got absolutely mopped by Sam Cedar, and he got mopped by Hassan. Every time he goes up against somebody who actually debates and won't fall into the whataboutisms, he gets absolutely mopped, and he winds up ending his debate. That's how he ends it. Like a child that thinks Israel's the big good guy is better than you, and then people he gets applause for that.
Not the morality of a child.
Well, hold on. It's interesting you say that, because a child who knows that Israel is the good guy, Hamas is bad, has a lot more wisdom than a student like yourself at Cambridge University.
I will be glad that I will not have been somebody who has defended the genocide of the Palestinian people. And I think you will have to reckon one day that you have reckoned with.
Interesting. I want to close on this. So can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Okay, wait. So here's what Charlie's doing. Charlie knows he's run out of time, and Charlie's last attempt here to win the debate is to seem like he knows something more than this kid, and that this kid is only supporting the Palestinians because it's like the cool thing to do. And if he was going to be logically consistent, he would know about these other things. So Charlie Kirk is going to finish this off with a couple of gotchas, and he came to the wrong fucking place.
Defended,
and you'll see it in his face.
Genocide of the Palestinian people. And I think you will have to reckon one day that you have reckoned with.
Interesting. I want to close on this. So can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because I'm not an idiot.
How about what Southeast?
Oh, believe it or not, I know about Sudan. Fuck. How about
Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right
now.
Myanmar. Oh fuck, he got them both. Oh, Charlie's out of things to say now. He wanted him to be like, I don't know. And then we like, what about in Asia? I don't know. And he's like, see, you only care about it because it's anti-Trump. But he knew about it. Came to the wrong fucking place, Charlie Kirk, and he knows more about it than you do. Your gotcha backfired right in your face.
And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Unlike you, I take an effort to be informed about foreign policy and to come to conclusions. You are a culture warrior. I believe when everything is done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you've supported as corrupt, as selling the country out to the lowest bidder, and of doing irreparable damage to a country I'm sure we all deep down love.
The difference,
I think you will have to reckon with that.
Difference
Mr. Kirk.
Is when.
All right, this is my favorite part. Charlie Kirk can't look at anybody. Kid hits a walk-off, answers both of his gotchas, says you're going to have to answer for this in the future, and Charlie Kirk is just left. I'm going to make you watch it. He's just left. What am I going to say to that? What am I going to say?
The difference is when we get our way, we'll still have a country, and your country will be a third world hellhole.
You're going to have to answer for your support of a genocide. Yeah, well, your country's going to be shitty. That's what he ended with. He sat there that long and thought about it. What am I going to say? Well, at the end of this, your country, Britain, will be a third world hellhole. Yeah, really? That's how this is going to end? The conflict in Israel and Palestine is going to end with the UK being a third world hellhole? Yeah, okay. Okay, Charlie. That's what he decided to end on. He was so he got absolutely obliterated to the point he had no clue how to end it. Well, you guys are shitty. At the end by Charlie Kirk. That's how he decided to end it. Jen, do we have Gadget? Well, let me read comments and then I'll hop in if you want to throw them in that other VC. Tammy, thank you for the donation. Amy Lynn said he's done none of that. Johnny said, did you skip me again? I sure didn't, Johnny. Shannon said, thanks, Jen and Jay, for all you do to keep us informed. Love you both. Jamar said, Charlie Kirk isn't good at actually debating. He's just good at memorizing facts. Natalie said, the hypocrisy is crazy. Total double standards. You mean I covered that one. Let me just get mine as well. Lisa said, thank you, Lisa. Chelsea said, do you like matcha for research purposes? I don't know if I've ever had matcha, to be honest. I don't think I've ever had it. I see it all the time. I'll try it today. Jay said, thanks for the show. From Jade. Oh, that's from Jade. Thank you, Jade. Latifah said, you're my hero. Latifah, you should get a better hero. It's not a good idea. Jen said, thanks, Jay and Jen, for a great week. And I got that one. All right, let me look and see. Jen, do we have oh, I see it. Go up there. Gadget, what's up, my friend?
Hello, Jay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Just being sued by some sex traffickers. So just the usual.
Just another Friday.
That's it. Yeah. How you going, man?
Good, man. Sorry about those douchebags that are suing you. I'm gonna throw up your.
That's all.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I said that's okay. It's also silly. I mean, all you can do is laugh. It's the stupidest lawsuit I've ever seen.
What is it that they're actually what's the actual accusation that they're making, like in general terms?
Yeah, so there's me and there's a bunch of other individuals listed. So some people might recognize if people follow the Andrew Tate case. People like Crown Murders, Milk Bar TV, Nathan Livingston, Common Sense Skeptic. So they filed this lawsuit for where is it? Oh, there we go. For defamation per se, commercial defamation, and civil conspiracy. So they're alleging that we're all a big conspiracy that have been working together to slander and defame the Tates. I mean, some of the people in the group, we literally don't even know each other.
Yeah.
Some have barely spoken to each other. It's just it's ridiculous.
You guys have you have an interesting group too. Like politically, there's like a broad spectrum of you have everything from like QAnoners to like straight up communists in this group of people. Like politically, you have the whole spectrum. I think that's probably a good sign that you guys are on the right track.
Well, that's the thing. All the little tater tots, the Tate fan, and Tate drills us into them. They like to think that everyone against him is a blue-haired feminist liberal. And it's very much not the case. It's very diverse. There's a lot of good, like conservative right-wing people that don't like sex trafficking and are against this.
Imagine that.
So that very much goes against their narrative. It's very diverse as far as all political sides of the political spectrum, religions. Anyone that doesn't like sex traffickers and pedophiles don't like these guys.
And if you love them, then the Tates are your guy. If that's your thing, you gotta love the Tates.
Oh, that's it. Go for it. If that's your thing, for sure.
So tell me about then. I'll pull up the GoFundMe. I'll go to your DMs. I'll put it up on the screen. Tell me about where the money's going to go, and where the lawsuit was filed in Florida, right?
It was, yeah, which is again ridiculous. I'm in Australia. There's some jurisdiction issues there with most of the people listed. So it's just to basically go towards our defense. So in my opinion, this is not a serious lawsuit, and it's designed to attempt to just, one, silence us, and two, drain us and harass us. Tate's very open about doing this to people. There's a clip of him on Richard Cooper's podcast, where he talks about how if he doesn't like someone, he'll sue them and sue their family.
Yeah.
And send people to their house and all this. So it's to go towards our defense, and any funds that aren't needed, like let's just say if some lawyer manages to talk sense to them and they drop it or whatever happens, any funds or more rough funds that are raised that are needed, that's going to go towards victims, which will.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the plan. We're not going to profit from this at all. So if it gets a lot of support, which it has been, it's got up to 10K, nearly about to pass 10K in less than a week. So,
and I saw the other ones at like 70K, right? There's two of them, right? Or was that a different?
Yeah, there's the victim. The one you're thinking of is the victims in the UK, which I promote quite a lot.
Oh, that's the one for the victims. Okay, my bad.
No, that's cool. That's so grabbing a drink. Because one thing that the Tates would love me to stop talking about that. So, because of this, which is not going to happen, I'm going to keep promoting the victims' fundraiser, their campaign, and all the victims. That's really what this is all about. Any kind of attention I get from this, I want to make sure that we keep that in the front of our mind. Like they're the most important people in this, not us, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours is just literally about to hit 10K probably overnight. My time tonight is probably going to hit 10K, which is amazing, like in less than a week. Because it really is like there's a lot of, I don't know, how would I put it, grandstanding about free speech, but this is literally a free speech thing. They're literally just filing an absurd lawsuit that, like, if you read like all the examples of defamation they've listed, they've kind of put a list of examples of defamation posts and things towards each defendant, and it is just the most absurd, ridiculous examples of defamation. Like one of mine, for example, is a post on Twitter I did with a caption, Andrew Tate admits to being a pimp who exploits women and takes all their money, and it's attached to a clip of Andrew Tate saying, "So when I was a pimp, I used to exploit all the women and take all their money."
It's just his words.
Exactly. So it's literally their definition of defamation is showing their words and playing clips of them posting court documents and updates of what's happening in court that contradicts the lies that they say about what happened in court. And just things like that, the text exchanges that are in evidence that show that they have exploited women and been abusive towards women in their text exchanges and admitted to abusing women. So it's just ridiculous. So.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, I've seen at least Murder by Crayons. I've seen him like say this to Andrew Tate. Like, you have that. There's that Twitter Spaces where they've said this. Like, they've discussed it openly together. So it's weird that like now they're saying it's defamation. At the time, they just sat there on a Twitter live and allowed it to happen. They had the conversation. It's weird that now it's defamation.
It is. It feels very desperate to me. Like ever since, for example, they went to the US for their little joyride they were allowed to have around the United States,
Yes.
And Andrew actually said he expected to get a hero's welcome, and I believe he expected this, to get a hero's welcome, and particularly the whole MAGA side of America, we're going to welcome with open arms, and it did not happen. And it's really just drawn attention to, for example, people thinking, who are these guys? And seeing all these things that we've shared were their words from their own mouths. And it's just really destroyed their reputation. It's their following, like the members of Tate's little university that's just like a ghost town in there. So this is really a desperation move. What I believe is a failed attempt to silence us. It's not going to happen. We're not going to be scared off. We're not going to be silenced. And particularly for the victims, we're going to continue to have their back. There's a lot of women who, for their own safety and threats from the Tates and their fans, can't speak up themselves and put their faces out there. So just stop being silenced doesn't feel like an option.
Yeah. Well, look, I appreciate. We're going to post it in the Discord. Anybody who can give to this, please do. And like Gadget mentioned, if they wind up not having to use this to pay for litigation, then this will go to it. Will you just transfer into that other fund? Is that where it'll go? Into the
that's most likely the plan. We'll be looking at some victim funds, and we'll at a later date we'll confirm exactly whether we split them up into a few. So we'll completely confirm that as far as exactly which one's going to go towards. It's going to go towards victims, and that's basically any funds that aren't needed.
Good. Well, we'll try and raise some funds for you, but on a personal level, like, how are you doing with all this? You doing all right?
I'm fine, honestly. It's just one, it wasn't unexpected. They've kind of been doing veiled threats that they were going to do this in their streams and all this stuff, and Andrew's bragged about doing things like this. So one, it wasn't a surprise, and two, it's just so stupid that it's just so ridiculous. So no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just laughing it off, and
well, good.
Doing what I do.
Well, we'll throw it up there. We'll try and raise some funds. I appreciate you coming by. Make sure you guys are following Gadget too on Twitter. It's interesting. Murder by Crayons. Any of those people. Are you guys still doing Twitter Spaces now and then, getting together?
Yeah, we will be doing some pretty soon. There's been a bit less just because there's a bit less, not as much kind of case news going on lately. But we'll be definitely doing some. We've got a few planned, I'll say, in the coming weeks.
Well, keep me posted on that, and we'll announce it.
Awesome. No, thanks. I will. I'll send you a DM.
Brother. Be well.
No worries. Thanks, Jay.
We'll
Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Gadget, everybody. All right, now it's time for Friendly Friday, the day that I get to be really, really uncomfortable. And I look forward to you guys all making me uncomfortable. If you want to join Friendly Friday, you just need to be a member of the Discord. Hop in the Discord now. Jen will get that set up. I'll check comments one more time. And then let's see. Namaste said, fueling the dollar train. Choo choo. Thank you. Jamie said, happy Friday. Glad you do what you do. I am too. I'm glad I do what I do as well. I appreciate you saying that. Jen, are we ready to go?
So if you guys are in the Discord and you want to join Friendly Friday, hop into the general VC. We'll be over there in a second. Everybody else that's here, if you are opposition, this is where you're going to cry about, what is this? What is the circle jerk? Blah, blah, blah. So you're going to get really bored and you're going to talk lots of shit. But that's what we do. We have opposition all week. So now we get to let people come on that we consider friends. So if you guys are here and you want to join Friendly Friday, I'll hop into the general VC and we'll get going. Did you read all the messages that
I think so. Double check one more time. I think the ones that you sent. Let me look at yours. Yes. Actually. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, that should be always check, because I put it. Oh, and I found the pickle video for.
Oh yes. Emily said he's done none of that. I probably missed that one. Tammy, thank you for the what was that, a super chat? You send it in the. You said you found the pickle video. Is it in the chat?
Yeah, scroll up. I'm gonna try to
Good Trouble did it. Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course, Jen has to put Good Trouble in here. We can't just watch the pickle video. We all have to drool over Good Trouble.
And you're just mad because you're
A little
not
bit.
strong like Good Trouble.
Like a little bit. It's fine though.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's easier because it's an olive jar, though.
Uh-oh.
Come on, you can do it. Put it right side up.
You can do it. You got this. All right, bro. I can't do it. Here.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm supposed to open the pickle jar? I gotta grip it.
Uh-oh, Andrew. If you can't open it either.
Your hand greased the whole top of it. Literally slippery. I'm supposed to open the pickle jar? Grab me a paper towel so I can.
By the
dry
way,
the
this is
top.
the guy that everybody came in yesterday and told me I was afraid to debate, and the text says he's going to set up a debate with, so we'll see.
You're the big, strong man. There you go. Come on.
There we go. Wiped off.
I can't grip the fucker. Like, I gotta have a way to grip it. I gotta grip it. Try it. You fucker. That bullshit.
What is more satisfying than watch the...
That's what they were talking about earlier. Game changer right there. That made me laugh. All right, Jen, we ready in Friendly Friday? You want to drag me over there?
Yeah, I'll drag us over there.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Why is everybody saying uh-oh right now?
Oh, double uh-oh. Mom's here.
Oh, great. All right, who's first, Jen?
Cam.
Fucking Cam. What, Cam? What do you want? What?
What's going on, Jake? What's up?
Things are great.
Things are great. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying what's up. Saying hi. Yeah, just saying hi. How you doing?
Jesus Christ, I hate this so much.
That's all. Thoughts, feelings, concerns?
I have a lot of thoughts right now. Yeah, but I'm not going to say them.
Okay.
You can't make me.
Okay. Well, I mean, that is true. That is true. That's absolutely true. So.
What is going on? Why? Why do you guys do this? Why do you guys do this? Why is this fun for you?
Because it makes it possible. That's why. That's a silly question.
Just saying hi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I care. Okay, just seeing how the javelinas been. Have you been chased by them more lately?
No. Actually, I got surrounded by them the other night. I was out on a walk and I wasn't really paying attention, and then a whole pack of them had crossed the road, but some of them were still in the median, and some were crossing in front of me, and then some were on my left, and I was completely surrounded, and I got out of there. I was so scared, but they didn't chase me.
I hope you were absolutely blasted out of your mind when that happened. I hope that was the case.
Listen, if I'm on a walk, I'm elevated. I don't take unelevated walks. So yeah, I was.
I wish, God, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Is there any places around that we can get some footage from? We get some of their
no, it's pretty. Where I go on my walk, it's not lit super well. I don't think we have a lot of cameras. No Ring doorbells. Yeah, I don't know.
Dang it. That would be great. I wish.
Sorry.
Right.
It's been 5 minutes for sure. Get out of here.
All right. Love you, Jen.
There you go.
Love you, everything you do. You're amazing, and we love you so.
All right. Who's next? Jen?
Positive impact.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's better now. Better now that I'm not getting small talked.
Yeah, for sure. I missed part of the show today, which is always disappointing. I've got a new job and I'm training, and it's just like I don't get to just freely listen like I used to, but it's all good.
It's disappointing.
I know it's very disappointing. And it's probably going to get worse. So, but that's all right.
I'm probably going to get worse too. So that's.
I watch the replays. I just don't get to be part of the live, but that's all right. Did you see the video of Don Jr. Talking about being running for president?
Yeah, I think I did show it the other day. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I haven't been watching, so.
So dumb.
oh my God, I just was like,
Why would
I
somebody
kind of
want
threw up
that
a
guy?
little bit in my mouth. I know.
I think that MAG is in for like a real there's going to be this power vacuum, and you have to be a complete sociopath to do what Trump does. Like most people, everybody else, they have like some feeling. I just don't think anybody's going to be able to pick up that banner and do it the way that Trump does it. I think it's going to be really, really hard when Trump is gone to replace him, and I think it's going to be like a really fractured GOP for a while because that loyalty's all to him.
Yeah, I believe that too, and you know, any of the other people that when they talk, it's just inauthentic and it's just kind of creepy, and not that Trump isn't, but he just has that cult-like following, and I just don't think anybody else will have that same. So I do hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, my husband and I were talking last night, and I just had that sickening feeling of, we're, like, how are we ever going to come back from this? Like and I do think we will recover. It's just not going to be. It's not like the next election is going to turn it around. It's going to be, a long road and a hard road, and
Yeah, I think the
a lot of rebuilding.
Yeah, the hard part is depending on what he's able to do that you have to undo. But the hard part is the damage he's done to like the social fabric, and there are a majority of Americans will view something that's true, and they'll think it's not true because it's a certain person reporting it or it's a certain news station reporting it, and that's the kind of stuff that like it's going to take years to undo. The anti-science movement, the anti-vax movement, all of these movements that Trump used to manipulate people and gain power. That's the stuff that's going to be so hard to undo. They'll never trust the government. They'll never trust the news. They'll never trust a journalist, no matter if they're telling the truth or not. That's going to be the really hard part. Is the social fabric.
Yeah, that, and also the break in trust in the international community.
Yeah.
And my husband's in solar. They get 90% of their batteries come from China. No batteries are coming in, and it is stalling solar across the country. And it's really a play for Elon Musk to be able to use his Tesla batteries that he's developing. But they're terrible, and they're unreliable, and there's all these issues with them. So it's I don't know, it's that kind of damage that I think is going to, and the amount of businesses that are going to close and never reopen, and the power grab of the big corporations taking over the small. Those are all the things that are going to take decades to recover from.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, anyways, on that happy note, I'm going to go.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by.
All right.
We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Who's next?
One
Hey.
Hello. I got a new name again.
What do we got? Merch designer and trend. You been designing merch?
No, Jen upgraded me. So
all right.
she got me a promotion.
Congratulations on your promotion.
Well, thank you.
I think I got demoted. I'm fairly certain.
Oh.
I know I lost my mod powers in Admir's live. I know that happened last night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So weird
I saw
how
that.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was actually awake all night listening to you. So.
You stayed up for that? That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It was fun. So. I don't really have much to say, but I don't know. Do you know about Eurovision Song Contest?
Do I know about what?
Eurovision Song Contest. It's the biggest musical competition in Europe.
No.
Yeah, it was this weekend, and Asta Sofia and I have been so angry and upset because Israel obviously cheated. So it's a lot of.
Wait, what is this? It's at the
every country in Europe sends a song to perform.
And looks like the winner was from Austria, and then Israel was runner-up. A New Day Will Rise.
Yep. Yeah. It's been going on for 69 years.
How do they determine the winner? Is it voted like American Idol?
It's jury groups from each country, but also televotes, so people get to call in. Oh, sorry, my dogs are fighting. And it's clear that Israel has been cheating and then also breaking all the rules. So Asta, Sofia, and I have been very upset.
I'll have to look into it. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, we're very upset because, Israel shouldn't be in it, but considering they're performing a genocide. So
is that what the song is about? A New Day Will Rise? Is it about like the conflict in Israel?
I don't know. I didn't listen. I went to the bathroom when they were singing. So.
That tends to happen.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at the lyrics. No, I'll check it out.
Yeah, Russia has been disqualified because obviously with Ukraine and everything. But EBU says that Israel isn't cheating and they're following the rules. So, but yeah.
What is
we've been upset.
What is Barabara Bastu? What is that? What does that mean?
Bastu means sauna, so just being in a sauna. It's
that song is about.
This is a very
that would Sweden.
Yeah, this
Sweden,
is a very
Sweden came up with "I'm in a sauna" for their song.
Yeah, there are 3 Finnish people. I mean, Eurovision is very silly, and also this being the 69th. So we had one about the Finnish song is called "Ich komme," so I'm coming in German. The Australian song was about milkshake, but it's about come. The Malta song was called "Serving Kant," which means singing in Maltese, but
What is this competition? What is this?
It's so silly and it's so fun, and it's just every country in Europe just having fun together.
All right, I'm going to check it out. You sold me on it. I'm going to watch this after. Can I watch replays of the episodes like on YouTube or something?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I'll send you some of my favorite songs from this year.
Please do. Drop them in the Discord so everybody can see them.
I will.
All right. Well, congratulations on the promotion.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Jen, you're the worst and the best at the same time. So
awesome. Appreciate it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Bye.
See it. Who's next?
Jedi.
Hey.
Or Jedi.
Oh, what's up, man? Oh, sorry. I always call and ask a quick question. I just wanted to pick your brain real fast.
Sure.
Who would your perfect candidates be in 2028? Or maybe who do you think we'd have a best chance at winning?
I Buttigieg, I think.
Oh, that's me. Okay, good. Yeah, I like him and AOC. I don't know if they would ever.
He's just there's people who I'm sure that there's stuff with Buttigieg that I could find that I disagree with, like any candidate. But the thing that Buttigieg is so unusual and he's so different than any candidate is like he's the most effective communicator I think I've ever seen.
Super smart.
His ability to take complex things and make them palatable. I don't know that I've ever seen a president or a candidate be able to do that. I just think that the more people you get in a room with Buttigieg, or the more people that see him speak, the more likely they are to side with him. I think he's an incredible candidate, like a once in a lifetime candidate.
Yeah, I mean, he was on that Fox town hall and he had a standing ovation when he explained AB like the right way.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
No, he's incredible. He's so smart. He's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah. Do you think that they're thinking maybe of pushing for AOC as well? I mean, with the momentum she has,
Probably.
or would you be okay?
Probably. Yeah. And I think that that's good. Like you need, the thing is Pete's going to be viewed as more moderate. You have to throw the left wing something, and you have to convince the left wing that they are going to have some influence. And I think Pete's the right guy to do that. I think, somebody like AOC would be a good person on that ticket. That's probably the best ticket, I think.
Yeah. Do you think Newsom kind of hurt his? I mean, with the whole podcast thing, I think that was a big miss.
I don't know. I don't know anybody that really likes Newsom. He just comes off as so phony. He just is so middle of the road. The podcast was stupid. If you're gonna bring on Charlie Kirk, debate him. Don't kiss his ass.
Yeah, don't let him just say whatever he wants. Yeah,
nobody wants to see that. So I think Newsom ended his chances.
Yeah, same. Okay, that was it.
All right,
thank you.
Have a good
weekend.
Guys.
Yep, you too.
Johnny said, "Sorry, I'll stop complaining." Johnny must be behind a little bit. It's all right, Johnny. I love you. All right, who's next?
Mama.
What's up, Mama?
Or Marlene.
Hey, sorry.
Oh, hey, Marlene.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I had set down my phone and it timed out, so I was trying
You're good.
trying to get back on.
You're good. Loud and clear.
I don't I don't really have anything to say. I just,
It's just here.
It's just one of those days.
It's one of those days. It's been one of those weeks. It's a lot. It's a weird week.
I did send in a message through Venmo, and you didn't read it, so I don't know if you got it.
All right, Jen. Let me look. I'm sure Jen sent it to me, and I just forgot to.
But I'll tell you what I said. It was when we were talking about the Chinese cars that are coming here.
Uh-huh.
You know, the Japanese and the North Korea or the South Korean ones.
I think I read that.
Oh, maybe I missed it. How did I miss it?
I think I read that, didn't I, Jen?
Well. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking at.
I just was wondering to know how the tariffs on Chinese cars coming from Japan was going to help.
It's gonna. China's going to. Everybody knows when you put tariffs on Chinese cars that Japan pays them. Everybody knows that. Okay. It's common sense.
Well, I didn't, so I did learn something today.
There we go. Yeah, we're up to date.
All right, you can go ahead and drop me, Jen.
Thanks, Marlene.
Love you. You're
Love you too. Have a good weekend.
I may not, Marlene. I don't. Maybe double check. I don't see it.
It didn't come through?
I don't see it. I just double checked. I'm not seeing it. So maybe just check on your end.
I will check on my end. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. I must have responded to it in the chat or something because I looked too and I don't see it.
Or was it a super chat? Maybe it was a super chat, not a Venmo.
It wasn't a super chat.
Okay.
Oh, it was not. It was a Venmo?
No, it was Venmo.
Okay, double check because I don't see it on my end. So.
Okay. Maybe I didn't hit send or something.
It happens.
Like I said, it's been one of those days.
Becky in the Twitch chat said, I'm just done with this country. I'm moving to Mattel. That's good.
I need to get a passport or a visa that'll let me into Mattel. I wonder how I do that. Do I get it from Barbie?
I think you just call Christy Gnome. Just call Christy Gnome.
I would talk to your Barbie and see. They might be able to hook you up. So
okay.
See.
All right.
All right. Bye.
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 All right. Who's next?
Love you. Stop asking.
What?
Love you. Stop asking.
Oh, hey.
Say sucks, but we love Zen.
I love that one.
Somebody just got away.
Excellent.
Somebody just got away with Jen, with telling Jen they love them. This is the first time ever.
It's okay with kids. Adults, absolutely not. Kids are cool.
Excellent. He made a little thumbs up at the phone. I wish I had my camera on. It was the cutest thing.
That's awesome.
All right. Anyway, you guys suck. We love you. That's all I had to say.
Love you guys too. We'll see you.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Cranberry.
Hey, happy Friendly Friday.
Happy Friendly Friday to you.
I basically had two reasons to come up here. One was to congratulate. This is me taking credit for my girlfriend, who's way smarter than I am. She just got a new job that's way better paying. It's in Oklahoma, so I did have to drive like 6 times to the airport and back.
Yeah.
For an interview that happened yesterday. So with a less than 24-hour turnaround, that's pretty dope.
Congratulations
so now
to your girlfriend.
I'll be moving. Yeah. She actually just joined the Discord because she wanted to know everything that I was like cackling about at 2 a.m.
Oh my god!
So
I went through the out of context today. I had not seen that in a while. That was tough. That was tough for me to watch. Yeah.
Do you ever remember that stuff, or is it just kind of
never.
like you're in a flow state and then you just go like, "What did I talk about for the last 4 hours?"
I didn't remember saying any of that shit. I was like, "Oh no,
that's crazy."
Yeah.
And now it's on the internet forever.
Forever. Yeah, that was tough to look at.
And then I also had a joke. I did Google it because I haven't heard anything outside of the internet. But then a lot of the stuff that I found, I was like, I can't say this stuff out loud or ever. But I did find a good one. I think might be a goodie. There are 3 nuns standing outside the pearly gates, and Saint Peter goes, "Do you have anything to confess?" And nun number 1 says, "I must confess, these hands have known a man's penis." And he said, That's fine. Just wash them in this bowl of holy water and you'll be forgiven. And then nun number 3 cuts in front of nun number 2. And nun number 2 says, oh, what's that about? And she says, well, I got to gargle this water before you wash your ass with it. Wait for that one to settle.
Jesus Christ. All right, you gotta go.
If you're not seeing him on the screen, he's got his head down, his face is as red as a tomato. And
I was like, did it hit?
Oh,
All right,
sorry.
wonderful.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
forget you can't
Bye,
see
y'all.
me. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, his face is red. He looks like he's
Oh.
like crawl into his hoodie. So good job.
It's a good day.
Yeah,
God,
thank
it's
you.
a good day.
You did it.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right, bye.
Jesus Christ. All right.
All right, Devo.
Follow that up, Devo. Good luck.
God, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Did Tish get a chance to go? I see she's in here. I didn't want to cut her.
Not yet, but I can wait.
Switch
okay.
likes to finish him off sometimes.
Jesus Christ. Don't. Jesus.
Oh, that's fair.
Thank you.
2 things. And I still am catching. I wasn't able to listen yesterday, so I'm catching up on the YouTube. I haven't finished it yet. Have you seen anything or covered it on your show about the latest episode of The Handmaid's Tale with the Taylor Swift intro?
No.
Have you seen anything about that?
No. Wait.
So the most recent episode of Handmaid's Tale, I mean, you know the premise of it, but basically the handmaids and everyone who's been captured are fighting back in a nutshell.
Okay.
And if you just look up Taylor Swift Handmaid's Tale, you'll see the clip, but it's basically all the handmaids that were captured and forced to breed, basically fucking everything up. And the intro of them fucking everything up is being played to What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift.
Let me see
And
it.
it is absolutely epic, and I think it's perfect for the state of everything. So I recommend looking it up. You don't have to cover it on your show, but
No, we'll watch it. We're gonna watch it right now. I've got
are
it.
you pulling it up?
Yeah, I got it. Let's see.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
You should be able to see it. Let's see. I think that's as much as I'm allowed to play before I get in trouble. All right. I haven't seen Handmaid's Tale. None of that makes sense. I also don't know that song. So that's probably cool for everybody but me. I don't know anything about that song or the show.
Just look up What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift. Like it's just, yeah, you messed with me and I'm gonna fuck you up, basically. But I recommend, yeah, like I said, basically everyone's captured and the women in red are forced to breed, and this clip is them planning to fuck up all the guys that made them breed. So the women in the red are the handmaids, the ones that were like forced to get pregnant and stuff like that. And it's just them fucking shit up. So I recommend everybody look it up.
Okay,
so
but
that was it.
Okay, but not it when you guys start fucking people up. Not it. I wasn't part of this. I just wanted that to be clear.
Oh no, you've always been on our side. You're safe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. See ya.
All right, have a good weekend.
See ya. Have a good weekend. What's up, Swish?
Happy Friday, Double Daddy. It ends with me, Sister Wife 69, reporting for duty.
That's correct. Thank you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. How are you?
Good. So I'm not sure who that was telling that joke, but I was trying to follow it along, and we had just pulled into my garage. And boy 16, who I just picked up from his last day of school,
Oh, no.
This is him behind me. Yeah, because I had it on speaker. And he goes, ha, I heard that before. And I was like, what is my life? What is my fucking life right now?
You're raising him right. That's important. That's great.
Yeah, that's it. So listen, I don't have any like funky jokes or anything like that today. It's been one heck of a week. My eldest son is flying in with his wife tonight to Myrtle, and then they're driving over here, and I've got him here for the weekend, so I'm super excited about that. I did not see Admir catch a ban yesterday, and I'm really sick over that. If that's true, I hope it's not like a perma ban or anything.
I think he said 7 day.
Oh my God! Can you tell me real quick why he got that, or should I just reach out?
I'm gonna assume it was probably something I said. He didn't say much. I'm fairly certain it was me.
I don't think it probably had anything to do with you per se. I think he was probably being mouse reported.
Yeah. I did.
Oh,
I said some shit though that probably could have got
did you?
me. I said a lot of
Okay.
stuff that could have got me in trouble. So, but I didn't, and he did. So that's fine.
was it that guy? When I said earlier, man, that was like debating dry ramen noodles. Like that's what I feel like the brain energy was giving. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is air a grievance.
Okay.
And I may have misheard this, but I heard somebody make a donation today and use my sister wife number. So I'm going to have
I
to
was
ask
just
you
gonna say that. I was gonna say somebody else used it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not giving up my number.
Okay.
I don't care if nobody ever put me in on the spreadsheet. Please do that and kindly cease and desist. This is my number, but I would suggest you use 68 and you can owe him one. How about that?
Thanks,
I do
Swish.
appreciate a good spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you guys. Jen, you're fabulous. I love you. You're gorgeous. And I'll talk to you guys later.
See you, Swish.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right, Jen. Is that it?
I think so.
All right. Any last words from you?
I hope you stub your toe.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, everybody. We'll
Did we read Johnny's? He said, sorry, he'll stop complaining. I want to make sure we don't forget Johnny's most recent super chat.
I think I read that, and I'll check.
Well, I want to make sure, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Just.
And then says Latifah said, "Okay, now Good Trouble, my hero. You guys are welcome for the Good Trouble eye candy." Denise said, "Thanks for the chuckles and TGIF." Jamie said, "Happy Friday." Glad. Oh, I read that one. Glad you do what you do. Got those. Jen, did you check all yours? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, everybody. We'll be back Monday. Actually, not Monday. We're off on Monday. I don't think we talked about that. Yeah, I've got a golf tournament on Monday. Maybe we'll talk about it. We may do something on Monday. We'll figure it out. Because I do think I do think my daughter's going to be gone Monday night. I got to double check on that. So we'll see you. If we don't see you Monday, we'll see you Tuesday and every normal weekday, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, and in your hearts. If you would like to look at our merch and purchase some merch, we got a website for that. It's in the link in the bio. We also do Cameo. We have paid subscriptions through YouTube and on Twitch. And on Twitch, you get to miss the commercials if you have a paid subscription. So just added benefit for you. I would just want to tell you guys thank you again for all the support. It looks like we hit 11,000 subs yesterday. Somebody had predicted that we would, and we did. And then a reminder, June 1st, which is just 8 short days away. 30. How many days is May 30, 31, 9 days, then 9 days. Anyways, my Jubilee episode is going to drop on June 1st. Jen and I will set up an event to watch that and do a live reaction. So that's coming up. But take care of yourselves this weekend. Go out and yell at MAGA if you need to. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool, and have a great, great summer.